representation remains as earlier, except for the joining of Mr. Eric Sabiti, together with Mr. Hamid Kugorobi, representing the 10 respondents. For the record, Mother, we also want to thank you for the guidance, as Santi has since returned to the courtroom. But wish to state that the confusion was arising from journalists who had been blocked from entering, and your guidance has since assisted in having everybody in their desired place. That said, my lord, at the last hearing, apart from the cross-examination application, we had notified the court of the need for an attempt to mediate and resolve this amicably. The circumstances have not facilitated the same because the second and ninth respondents have been missing. And speaking through their counsel this morning, we have been informed that the exercise of a discussion could only be undertaken after today's proceedings. In the event that they be available, we will still undertake to avail ourselves for the same.
My Lord, we were under Enoch for the second and ninth respondents. Yes, my Lord, I was present in court. Maybe, my Lord, we can first conduct the proceedings for today, then the rest we can hand off to the next session. Except, my Lord, my clients are ready for the cross-examination of today, but they have instructed me to object to their former lawyers not to cross-examine them. That because they had some information they shared during the time they were representing them, which was confidential and prejudicial.
That is the very reason that there was some. When you begin making statements with a different, you cannot say you don't want to.
Then my Lord, at an appropriate time, I will move court so that they can present the objection and the court determines it.
Let them take the stand.
That's it.
We're ready for Mr. Kibalama. Moses Konge, my lord.
The place you excuse us is
Our proposed order, my lord, is counsel for the 10th respondent to begin, and we will do after that.
we're beginning with Mr.
Uganda. What's your religion? Hold the Bible in your right hand and pray for me. I swear by the Almighty God.
I swear by the Almighty God.
That the evidence I shall give, touching the matter now set forth, shall be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. So help me God.
My lord, we had requested for 2 witnesses. One is still in court. We are saying that the other witness should move out. Then, Simba Paul Kagondo.
Mr. Singh was step out, briefly. You are called.
My lord, is regarding the visit that is admitted in evidence. Mr. Muwonge, Moses Kibalama, there are 2 affidavits on record. I want you to first identify them. 3 affidavits on record. I want you to first identify them and hold them for the purpose of this examination. And maybe to guide you, the first one was made on have a look at this affidavit. Dated 14th day of September.
And I know, trespass service qualification, level of education.
Mr. Kibalama, for the purposes of this examination, can you repeat this one and what your full names?
My full name is Moses Kibalama.
Your age?
59 years.
59 years old. What is your profession or what do you do for a living?
Well, I have some businesses. Some businesses.
Do you be around for court to get your evidence and be audible?
Yes.
You have private businesses?
Yes.
Apart from the private business, what do you do? Do you have any other business? What is your profession?
Well, I got a diploma in business administration, which I attended at Makerere College of Commerce in the year 1995.
1995. I've also been told that you are a former police officer.
I've been joined the police in the year 1974.
And you also had several training in Sandhurst.
Understand that which I could start with.
And that puts you at the high trained police officer.
Yeah, mostly the VIP protection and related services.
VIP protection of the former president, I think.
Yes, from President Obote, or Muwonge, President Binais, and I was in these 3 offices.
So I'll be very right to think that you are very knowledgeable in the political dispensation and the history of Uganda.
Yes, I have.
Now, there's an affidavit of 14th September.
Yes.
Is that your affidavit?
By virtue of my signature here, I would say it's my affidavit.
You can return that one. There's another one. This one also. It is also dated 14th September.
Same day?
Read the date.
The date 14th day of September 2020.
2020. Possibly the same day. And before the same commission of oath, or drafted by the same lawyer?
No,
No, that is a different lawyer.
this is a different law.
So in the space of one day, you moved two different lawyers taking the evidence.
First wait, because the affidavit say how we have one of 18th September.
Supplementary manual.
Supplementary.
No, there is another one.
Then the original one filed in the original bundle is the one of 14th. So now the other one is what I'm missing. Is it for the president or for the main
It
course?
is filed 15th September manual.
Is it for the miscellaneous application or for the main course? That's the confusion we have. Are you referring to affidavits for the main course or the one of 15th is a miscellaneous course?
But my lord, the one I'm talking mine is a business application.
Because there is no one in the course, so we are getting it from the main application.
My lord, it is relevant, is in the application.
Yeah, you should guide us. Otherwise, me, I thought I was having the file for the course only. When it was missing, I got concerned.
Then my lord, the rest one is supplementary in the course. Mr. Kibalama, you can look at this one. Selected. Are those your full names and that is your signature? Yes, sir. Okay, you understand. Now, I'll have a simple question. On 14th September, you saw an affidavit, so now, in support of an intention to change the name from NURP to NUP, National Unity Platform. And that is the affidavit of 14th September. That's true?
Oh, which year, sir?
2020. This year. And that is the first affidavit I gave you. Is that your evidence?
Can you return it, sir?
That is it. Kibalama. And in that affidavit, you say,
Take us to the panel.
yes, that's what I'm not doing my work. First, in paragraph 5, you say that the applicants have no local standard. That's what you say in paragraph 5. And this specifically you are saying that the application is frivolous, is responsive, is bad in law. And indeed, you are saying that all what the founder members, founder member applicants, whatever they are saying are falsehoods. That's what you are saying in paragraph 5.
That's what I said.
That's what you said.
Yes.
Now, in the last affidavit, the supplemental affidavit, my lord, you say in paragraph 3 that after making further consultations,
Yes, sir.
that's what you say,
Yes, sir.
with the new lawyers,
Yes.
you acknowledge you had other lawyers, then you got new lawyers.
Yes, sir.
One, what motivated you?
To get my own lawyers.
No, you are not getting lawyers, you are making consultation. What motivated you to consult other lawyers? You have you read the affidavit, you read the application, you made evidence. That very day, what motivated you to consult other lawyers?
Well, since I'm not a lawyer myself, when the matter came up, to my knowledge, I had to do a lot of consultation in order to be guided.
When you say when the matter came up to your knowledge, it came to your knowledge you made an affidavit on 14th.
Yes, sir.
After that, you had another matter?
No, I just needed guidance from what kind of consultation. So that's how I got that new lawyer, and the lawyer had to give me guidance on how to handle this matter.
Who are these new lawyers?
My lawyers, gentleman seated near you.
What is his name? Do you need to check on the paper to know his name?
Yes, yes.
You
You should seek permission of
Yes,
court
yes,
if you
permission
want to
to
your
read.
mind.
Because my
If you
business
don't
is-
remember, it's not an offense. Then you should
Mr.
not.
Yamuka, who is seated.
So,
Mr. Biamuka.
this is Mr. Biamukama, who is seated next to me. He's the lawyer I consulted.
They are consulted.
And Mr. Biamukama, the lawyer seated next to me, after consulting him, he told you to do another affidavit.
He advised me to do another affidavit in order.
No, before he advised you, but you do not have it in mind, you are just consulting.
No, I was consulting for legal guidance.
Was that
Because,
enough motivation?
Yeah, it was. Me, for example, me, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not studied in that area. I need to consult learning people.
Like the police officer. Come on, the police officer.
Yes, sir.
No, in the police, to some extent.
At least.
So you consulted, so please, did you also give him the other affidavit you had?
No, the funny thing with the first affidavit you're talking about, I was in one area, I was traveling. Then colleagues and friends in the NUP invited me that it was very urgent to consult them. But they didn't have the medical day of affidavit. I was requested.
Mr. Kibalama, that is what you're thinking is different. This that I gave you the affidavit.
I signed.
That's your affidavit.
Yes, yes. I signed it.
That's what I want.
The last page.
That's what I want.
that affidavit.
Now let's go to your new lawyer, Biamukama. Who are the old lawyers?
The old lawyers were
Who are they?
Anthony Wameri, Wameri and the company. And there were also other lawyers from the reporters of NUP.
Are you also aware that the applicants are represented by Biamuka?
No,
Is he the same person?
these people's names are almost similar, so I can't differentiate the names. But there's a Biamuka representing the other party.
There's also Biamuka representing you.
Yes.
And this person
This person represents me.
is also Biamuka. Now, what is very critical, what I want you to tell you? What prompted you? There's what motivated, there's what prompted you to make another affidavit. Because you had been satisfied that you had read the application, you had read the allegation of the party founders, and you say these are falsehoods, they are not true. In a pace of only 4 days, you get motivated, you get prompted, and you visit Biamuka. Who did you refer? Who referred you to Biamuka? Have you dealt with that lawyer before?
No, I had never dealt with a lawyer before, but the front of
In your 59 years of even when you're
a friend of mine that I consulted told me that that lawyer is a good lawyer, he's a smart lawyer, and these are the ingredients I was looking for from a lawyer.
Would the smart lawyer change the fact of the evidence? So that's what you did.
I don't think so, but he would be able to guide me further.
My lord, objection to that question. That one touches on my integrity, which it also answer.
Let him answer. If he says no, then let him answer here, unless he objects.
Now, Mr. Kibalama. Yes. You know, you make this new lawyer, Mr. Biamuka here. You explained that you had read evidence on court record. You read the application in support of this. What for? What advice we are looking for? You a former president, party chairperson?
Yes, sir.
You have done an affidavit?
To answer your question, what you could have done at that time, to me it was
Forget about the affidavit, the evidence before court.
even the evidence before court. It was not clear evidence before court or either court process. But I was given a third page to sign because I was rushing to Kayunga for where I could spend the night. People told me, if you are not here tomorrow, then we may miss out on what we are
Did you retain a copy?
Never.
You retained a copy.
I never think.
So what were you consulting on? Because it appears you had no evidence.
By then I didn't have any evidence, but I went on consult, and that is what drew my concern.
What I'm interested in, what was the subject of consultation when you visited the Biamuka here?
Well, I narrated the story vaguely as I explained to Biamuka that there is a group of lawyers that consulted me over these issues of the party. Then I chose to inform him exactly what was going on. So he advised me accordingly that that was a mistake. He must have signed a document without knowing the content.
Now, in paragraph 7, in paragraph 6, you allude to certain affidavit, and you seem to have been informed of what was in that affidavit. Now you are telling court, you are given a last copy, you moved on because you're traveling, but when you met your new lawyer, you are simply telling him, there's an affidavit I did, this is what was in the affidavit, and that's what you said in 6. And in 7, I can read it for you.
Yes, sir.
I wish to clarify that the statement in my first affidavit, prepared by Kwa. That's what you're saying in 7. Were hurriedly made without thorough advice and reflected on what was made in my second affidavit using the new lawyers, withdrawing the first and stating the truth as I know. So you're simply saying there was an affidavit, and you are stating the facts,
Yes.
contradicting what those affidavits, the evidence you gave
Yes, sir.
in the affidavit of the
Yes, sir.
And my question is very simple. You want people to brief, you sign the last page without
sir.
reading the contents, but you are able to state these new lawyers that there is an affidavit there, and I did not give a proper account
Yeah, that's right.
and the accuracy.
Mm.
Where? Because you never had a chance to look at those accuracies and accounts.
Now, the time by then was around 8 p.m. and I was traveling to Kanyonga district.
Forget about
for
the
a
time.
night. Now, this document, what you call evidence now, I need to read through the document. And that's the fact that I told my lawyer. Fact that I just signed the last page. That's why I instructed my Secretary General that before you hand over these documents, which is signed actually, the signed one, before you hand it over to the lawyers, take a telephone and read to me the text of that document, the affidavit that we purportedly signed. Because we have no time to read it, it's done so hurriedly.
I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
I want to get my question. I want to be very clear. One, a police officer in those ranks, you're only given the last page to sign, and that's all.
Yes.
That's what happened.
Yes.
And that's what you want people to believe.
You will hear from us.
After 4 days, you meet another new lawyer, a new lawyer. He advises you that the evidence is before one. What was this evidence he was talking about? Because you seem not to have had any evidence according to your testimony here.
You're just shown here that
What is interesting? What were the evidence before Kwago, which were telling a lawyer that it was false?
the confusion now is that counsel are bringing in Rukwago, whom I don't know.
No, the law firm.
The law firm which I don't know whatsoever. I call upon Anthony Mary to testify on this because me, I signed before Mary. When Mary is here, is mature person, he can narrate.
Let's forget about Kwago. Now, in paragraph 7A,
Were you aware that they're being sued?
Yes, sir. It came about that very week that was.
So you had the document.
And I did. They didn't have surprise.
How did you know that there was a suit?
They are here. They are not people lawyers. But they never gave us those documents, read it through, and get to understand what the shoot was all about.
So afterwards,
That's the truth,
they
my
are
Lord.
gave the
Yes, they returned me all the documents. By the time I was given it, signing the last page of the affidavit, I didn't even read the body of the affidavit because I was traveling at the time it was 8 p.m. that evening. And the lawyers they are talking about, I've never known what.
now I'll go to the gist, Mr. Kibalama.
Yes, sir.
In paragraph 7A
Of which one?
of the supplementary with my the affidavit of 17th day, September, you say that the resolution and minutes of the alleged extraordinary meeting held on 22nd Feb at Northern Triangle are not true as such a meeting did not take place. I filed the said minutes and resolution in the Electoral Commission for the sake of changing the party name as required in the party constitution.
Yes, sir.
That's what you said.
That's what I say.
A former police officer. You say you filed falsified resolutions and minutes to a public body.
The time is 11 o'clock.
Not falsified.
You are saying there, let me get the actual.
They are not true.
They are not true.
If they are not true, they are false.
They are false. And it is who filed it. As a police officer, you must have. Do you know that is a criminal? It's a criminal charge.
I don't know, I'm not well versed with the law, but for us in politics, there was a need for filing records at the Electoral Commission, and those documents were actually timely. That on such a date, you need to furnish the Electoral Commission with the rightful information. So
Are you telling court that one, you need to furnish the Electoral Commission with the rightful information?
Yes.
That's what you are telling court.
Yes.
And you're also telling court that what you submitted was false declaration. Can I also ask a question? Are you saying that we had timelines as Electoral Commission for you to file the change of name? Was it a public requirement that by all statutory requirement that you needed to file the change of name by this date? That needed you to false
Yes, the PPOA, Principally Properties and Organizations Act, clarifies clearly that this kind of records have to be filed not later than 6 months after the party has held its delegation conference.
Now, the question here is the change of name from NURP to NUP. So you are simply telling court that you are time bound to make sure that you file those declarations for a change of name.
Yes, sir.
So that means you had changed the name. Forget about what you filed. Forget about what you said. The intention to change the name is what you're saying. Because of that need, you needed to file certain documents. Forget whether they are falsified or not.
Yes, sir.
For change of name.
Yes, sir.
So it is evidence that you filed for a change of name.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Right.
We filed.
No, wait. Forget what you filed. Forget about what you filed. What is interested in that you filed for a change of name from NRP to NUP.
Yes, sir.
Now, I'm concentrating the criminal part of it. What I've already captured. I want to know. Did you know that giving out false declaration to the Electoral Commission to a public officer is an offense under the penal code? Because you're a police officer, you were very lucky you went to Sandhurst. Huh?
Yes.
Okay? As a police officer, in the VIP, did it occur to you that once you sit somewhere, forge, falsify results, public to a body managing electoral business and the public within the time that we are in now, you are committing an offense?
Well, I realized it later that I was committing an offense.
Are you
But
committing?
the full understanding of this matter.
No, wait, I'm the one guiding you. You realize that you are committing an offense afterwards.
Yes.
Is it your evidence that you committed an offense?
Yes, sir, because
My lord, I want to make an application. But we are faced with the self-confessed witness, criminal, and I make an application under section 98. That this court is gross with powers, main powers. That during trial, where it occurs that there was a criminal offense committed by a person, this court makes a finding and files a file of the DPP. For further prosecution. This has already appeared before you and confessed to that. That's my brief, my lord. I pray that it will form part of the final determination. We shall proceed, Mr.
needs to come here to take clear shots.
The Council shall make submission on the issue and the court shall make its ruling while disposing of the main.
Mr. Kibalama, is this your first, you've been the leader of this party since 2004?
Yes, sir.
Is this the first time, this is not the first time you are applying for the change of name?
No, it's not the first time.
So since 2004, you can confirm this one in court that you have made several requests for the change of party name?
Not several, but
Some.
we
About 4.
How many?
twice.
No, there are 3 times, my lord. I want to make that clear, there are 3 times. Check on the 22nd November 2012. You put a request to Electoral Commission. I want to give you an card for this from the court. Yes? Then that was rejected. And then the second one was on 1st February 2013. The first one in 2012. The second one, 1st February 2013. This time we wanted to change Independence National Unity Party. I want to remind you. Then this is the last one, the third one.
Yes, sir. Which one?
The one from NU, the one of NU is the last one. Okay? So your desire, and this is my question, this is not your first time that you are changing this party name. Your desire all along, since 2012, you had wanted to change the party name. And I believe when it was finally changed, you really succeeded what you wanted at that point. Because you really struggled to have it changed.
You can see the range of the name, pronunciation, whatnot. Our people from the grassroots could not easily pronounce these long letters and words. So we wanted to bring that party name. Clearly, if you look at Independent Party of Uganda, whatever, then you look at the NUP. It's really short, very short and well abbreviated.
So it is your evidence that indeed NURP, when you move the Republican and it is NUP, it is short and it is very, people appreciate it.
That's how we look at it. That's what the intention was.
That is the
To
intention.
shorten the name.
Shorten the name.
And they have a shorter way of abbreviation which would be easy to the natives of this land.
And your evidence is that the grassroots election that you involved in would appreciate the shorter name.
Yes,
And indeed, National Unity Platform, the shorter name,
yes,
which is appreciated by the grassroots.
yes.
Thank you very much. So, your intention, your desire was done by the Electoral Commission. In respect of what transpired, it has now shortened. What has happened? What is so weird now? That this shortened name, you don't want to hear about it.
It's not,
What has motivated you?
it's not me who doesn't want to hear about it.
No, I'm talking about your evidence. I'm talking about your evidence. What you wanted since 2012 to date is shortened the name. It has been achieved.
Today it has worked because you hear everybody can easily pronounce what
Wonderful, wonderful. So now, Everyone now can pronounce it.
Yes.
But you are saying it is not you. You are talking about another force. Help court. You see, the moment you're in court, it is where court can help you. Who are these people who don't want to hear about it? You are saying that it is not me. Me, I've done my part, I changed it as the party president, as the chairman of the since 2012. But you're saying there's another person who don't want to hear about this. Help court. Who are these other people? We are going to listen.
I didn't mention that. I did say that there are other people who are interested in not.
You are saying it is not me. Who are these? Your evidence that it is not me. Remember, you said it is not me. Me, I've done my part. It is now shorter name. It is appreciated by the grassroots. It is not me. Who is this?
Because as you may understand what's going on currently,
No, I'm concentrating on this.
Trying to bring in new people in the political grouping, which of course I was leading, and the new people, the new group which joined us, got so much interested, and we said, you can take on the administrations. With us, we don't have a problem with it.
And for record, you are saying that the new group you are talking about is responding 3 up to 8. They're the new people you are talking about. That you agreed that they should take over.
I wish I saw that.
No, I can read. Number 3 is Chagulani Sentam Robert. Number 4 is David Lewis. Number 5 is Aisha Kavanda. Number 6 Joel Senyoni. Number 7 is Flavia Carrere. And number 8 is Nyans Fred Sentam. You are telling court that you agreed this one can take leadership.
Yeah.
That is the evidence.
They could take leadership positions, including the members that were URP and I, who were to be assigned the new duties.
Is your complaint that you were never assigned new duties? Is that your complaint before?
It's unfortunate I was not assigned any duties. I was sidelined.
You are sidelined.
But I didn't have
Wait, what is recorded? Wait, what is recorded? So if you had not been sidelined, you wouldn't be here.
I don't see the circumstances. What circumstances that bring me to be here?
Is it because you are sidelined?
Very unexplainable. You can't explain the circumstances why I'm here. Me, all I did, I thought I was operating within the law. Then I brought in new people, even recruitment of new people in the party. The intention was to bring our party into limelight of real politics.
Yes.
And for me, whether given a portion of what to do or not, it didn't concern me at all. I knew the thing was moving positively. I knew guys who were there. I didn't have any bad feeling about it.
Where did the bad feeling come in later, after some time? What happened?
The bad feeling probably could be that all the people that I came with to join the other team, people who should be in the rightful positions, were all sidelined and were not assigned the duties. They are not invited for meetings. So that when I left those guys to fight it out.
Now,
but my people were also sidelined. I don't know why.
can this one also mean that's why you had to go and consult another lawyer? Because when you had these complaints from your other colleagues you came in with, probably is it what prompted you? Because that's what I was asking.
Yes.
Is it what prompted you?
It's one of the issues.
One of the issues. So the reason the evidence changed is that when you consult and said my colleagues have not been considered, which is among the issues, it prompted to have another evidence on record. Yeah. You say it right, but it prompted you to have another evidence because you're. Say it first.
I say it clearly because when we brought the party, we brought in a group of other members, other administrators, managers. We didn't intend to be thrown out of the arrangement. So today we are out of the limelight, we are out of the activities, we are out of action. So that's yes, that's the reason with us, me I took it right because I read that part first.
So, Mr. Chibalama, you are simply telling court that your actual grievance is that the people you came in with to join these other new leaders were sidelined. That is your actual grievance.
I wouldn't call it a grievance.
But that is your concern.
I could just call it a concern. But it's not a grievance of some sort.
And you are simply maybe suggesting that if this group plus you, if they assign other duties, you will have no problem. And you get back into the limelight, probably.
No, I don't, even if I wouldn't be there,
Yes.
I as a person,
Yes.
but the moment my team, NURP, was clearly integrated and given the responsibility,
Yes.
who would expect to have an harmonious kind of, working arrangement?
So you are simply telling court that actually forget about falsified results, forget about what I'm saying, but if I get back, if my people I came with, if they can have duties and responsibilities, I have no problem. And that is what you want. That's what you're telling court.
But now there is a matter of...
No, forget about the matter. Forget about the matter. Your grievance is that the people you came with, and I believe the people you came with include Simba Paul.
Yes.
So Simba Paul is also suspended because of this. That is your evidence. He was also sidelined.
It's out of the arrangement.
He's out of the arrangement. And possibly that's why he's also aggrieved.
I wouldn't say it's aggrieved.
But he's not happy.
Probably it's not happy. It's not aggrieved as such. Because this is...
You have the same concern.
This is a political party, this is politics, this is whatever. So...
Now, Mr. Chibalama, you've worked with several regimes, and you know party changes membership. I want your wise advice, because at your age, you have seen a lot. Did you expect, once you invite other members, still hold on and have those interests and your members to be consulted? Is it definitely? Is it in the constitution that the government with any leadership I should always be consulted and my other members should be given duties and roles?
Well, it's natural that
It's natural that
when you are the outgoing leader of grouping of this kind, you need to be consulted, you need to give your wisdom, advice, and so on. But when you are sidelined and you know where you are positioned in the hierarchy, probably to me, you leave it at that. But,
I want to thank you very much for that. But one last question. You know there's a National Consultative Forum where all political parties
yes.
have that forum and they meet at the electoral commission.
Yes, sir.
And you are still a representative of National Unity Platform as per the records.
What I know, as per records at
the Electoral Commission, you are still a representative of National Unity Platform. Forget about other things we're talking about.
and I'm the Secretary of Budget and Finance Committee.
You are also on top of that, the Secretary of Finance and Budget Committee.
Yes, sir.
27%.
I'm aware of that order.
You are not okay. And possibly, when you say you are sidelined, this very party leaders and members nominated you as a registered political party that has effectively changed the name. Forget about what transpired. It is this party, the members, the National Unity Platform, you are representing in that National Electoral Commission or National Consultative Forum, where you are also a member.
Yes, sir.
You are also a member.
Yes, sir. The fact is that when we changed the party name,
When you change party name?
Yes. When we changed the party name, the membership or lifespan of the National Consultative Forum was still ongoing because we renew our membership every 5 years or every 4 years of parliament. Now, when we came to the National Unity Platform, I still retained that representation because time had not come to renew the membership.
And this party leaders, you party has not recalled you. There is no such a thing.
The party has not recalled me because there is no way they call me.
No, they have not recalled. That's what I want. There's no letter that effect that you have been recalled from that National Consultative Forum as a member of the National Unity Platform.
No, sir. I still remain a representative.
But you still want more from the duties in the party.
Of course, many reasons why I started that political party. Many reasons we have this country, we serve our communities, and there's a lot to do.
Most of that, those are the questions we had from the
my Lord, I have a number for the gentleman. Mr. Kibalama. My name is Madam Ssegona. I have questions for you. Confirm that at the age of 59, please don't communicate with those people. Communicate with court. Oh, you need your tablets? No, you apply to court, have your tablets. Do you also need water in addition to the tablets? Just want to chew them. Please, my Lord, through you, may the supplier of the gentleman's medicine supply himself before we get into another catastrophe.
Well, the current
Are you ready for the questions before you receive your medicine? Thank you. At the age of 59, you are considered a man of advanced age in Uganda, correct?
Yes, sir.
And that age comes with a level of wisdom which you carry with you.
Yes, sir.
My Lord, I seek to direct that my God is saying to sit and against taking medication. I would pray God gives him medicine.
I object. I
the question
object.
they asked him, he told him, are you ready to proceed? Unless you're not paying attention. He asked him, are you ready to take questions? And he said it's okay.
My Lord, you can say it out of fear.
But you can, it says here, fear in what?
There's nothing to fear.
He's a police officer, a retired police officer. Don't make it appear like now the fellow is this and he can tell us everything at once. Now when we begin throwing in a towel for him before
You're flying, my Lord.
please leave him to, if you're not okay, please let us know. It's your health we're interested in first.
Before we leave the subject, my Lord, and having followed you, I will very strongly apply at this forum that you write another book on professional ethics and debate as a celebration piece. My Lord, before you do that, I will continue with the cross-examination. And Mr. Kibalama, the wisdom you carry at that age comes with a level of responsibilities to this country, correct?
I do think so.
You think so? And that you know what has caused turbulence in the political history and life of this country, correct?
Yes, sir.
Good. Where do you reside?
Current, you know,
Yes, Karen.
in Bali.
You've been in Mbale. Do you have a residence in Mbale?
For insecurity, please reserve.
No, he has mentioned already.
Just leave it at that.
All right. For how long have you resided in Mbale? I'll not go to whether you intend to continue.
2 weeks now.
For 2 weeks. And that you have been under the protection of security. True, false?
Well,
Yes, no.
I've been under state program.
You've been under
Now an
state
objection.
protection.
Now an objection.
Yes, answered it.
My lord, the three questions touching to my client security don't be touched by my colleague. If the facility is in the last time is for I pray, court prevails over, and my client's answer the question which arrived on his affidavit.
Don't guide on what is going to ask.
Like, my lord.
Most obliged, my lord. I do not intend to restate my earlier application.
If it's not comfortable answering, you say, but for you to say, let's avoid the interjection. We shall spend a whole day here.
Thank you. My lord, I am very well guided and schooled in knowing how to protect witnesses. I am an officer of this court. So my colleague would rather best settle his intentions of interjection. So, Mr. Kibalama, did you apply for security?
I did apply for security.
You did not apply for security. But let me take you to these affidavits of the affidavit that where you signed the third page, the one originally drafted by Uganda Company Advocates. This particular one of 14th September. Look at it. You say you signed it at 8 p.m. and you are heading to Kayunga?
Yes, sir.
Okay, give it to me. So after signing this affidavit, did you proceed to Kayunga?
I did.
You did. Okay. And you signed it hurriedly, without adequate consultations.
Yes, sir, because I didn't read even the content of the affidavit.
Okay. So the second one, which was prepared by Barungi, Bayingana and Company Advocates, you had consulted, and this time you were settled. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Where did you sign it from?
I signed it from a hotel.
From your hotel. Which hotel is this?
It's a very small place at Uganda.
At Uganda.
That is where I was.
That's where you were. With who? Who was in attendance?
There was Simba Paul Kagombe and I
Okay.
and someone who delivered the
Someone who delivered the
papers.
papers.
Said yes.
Who
Data.
sent you the papers?
Data.
Was you working with Barungi and
Data.
Company, with your lawyers? That is Barungi Bayingana.
No, sir.
Did you establish his or her name?
More data.
Yes or no?
It was the name of Prosper.
Prosper. Okay.
He was a friend of mine.
He was a friend of yours.
I
Is he a lawyer?
More data.
Since he's your friend. Is he a lawyer?
He's not a lawyer.
He's not. Is that all? Ah, that is all. Okay.
You don't remember this. He wrote a great
You need time to start it? It's all right.
Once you want to
You ready, sir? So after going to Kayunga, on the day you saw the first affidavit, how many days did you spend in Kayunga?
2 days.
2 days. Presumably you came back on the 17th or 16th, somewhere around. Good. Mr. Moses Kibalama, please look at this affidavit. And what I'm showing you the affidavit in miscellaneous application 492 and 493 of 2020. Is that your signature, sir? You already owned it earlier.
Yes, sir.
When was it signed? Going by that date.
14th day of September 2020.
At what time did you sign it?
Around 4 p.m.
Around 4 p.m. Please return it to me. It is my document. So, after signing the first affidavit hurriedly, on 14th September 2020, at 8 p.m., you went to Kayunga, spent there 2 days, but on the same date, at 4 p.m., this time earlier than the original affidavit, you signed another affidavit before another lawyer. Does that propel your credit as an old man?
Well, it was a critical moment that, when I consulted, I was advised that you made a mistake by signing the first affidavit, and lawyers actually what you need, never ever sign any legal document, which is without reading the body.
Incidentally, thank you for that information, but that's not my question. The question rotates on date and time. You signed an affidavit on 14th September at 8 p.m. Immediately after signing that hurriedly, you proceeded to Kayunga and returned after 2 days. But still on the same date at 4 p.m., presumably before you signed the affidavit drafted by Rupaga and Company Advocates, you signed a retracting affidavit at your hotel on the same date, earlier than the original affidavit, which is which?
My Lord, there are those affidavits these people are talking about, and the documents they are talking about are from Rupago and Company Advocates. I don't know Rupago and Company Advocates.
The ones you signed at night.
They approached me in a private place.
So now the question is asking you,
But
is another document of the same date is referring you to another affidavit of the same date. The question was just around that. Not about which lawyer. They're the same person?
because
For the other one you signed while going to Kayunga very late. Then you signed another one retracting. The other one going in a hurry on the same day.
My Lord, the law firm that is being talked about have no relationship with that law firm. Therefore, when I was not there, we retract that is talking about. It's a surprise to me. Because he was saying,
The question is not about lawyer. It's about the documents you signed. Now, if you signed one earlier, how would you have retracted later? You signed it out later. But now the one retracting is earlier. That's the question is asking. I hope I get a good
Yes, that's correct, madam. The retracting one is signed 4 hours before the one being retracted.
That's the question. It's around the time.
my lord, I signed the documents without knowing the content, without even having the background.
Forget the content. When did you sign? You see, it's pushing you towards one of the two must be a lie. You're either telling a lie on the other one, or you're telling a lie on this one. Now, where is the truth? That's what it's trying to establish. If you're saying I signed at 8, how come you signed this one at 4? It cannot be that at 8 you are signing, and then at 4 you had already signed something. So one of the two there must be a lie somewhere. So between the two, where is the lie? That's the question he's asking me.
All I remember is signing
Don't think about reading. It's about now the document.
Yes.
One document is at 8. This one is at 8. And this one is at 4. Put your question, please.
Mr. Kibalama, Central Kibalama, Muwonge, you're aged 59. You have a diploma in business administration. You have been a senior police officer, very highly trained at the expense of this country. Okay? You signed an affidavit. Okay. You signed this. Did you say the third page?
Yes.
They gave you the third page. My lord, I would invite you to look at the affidavit, the original affidavit, where he signed the third page. Drafted by Wagon Company and Wamelian Company. Now, since he recognizes Wamelian Company and Wamelian here. Look, this is page 1, page 2, and this is page 3. First, would you show your signature on that page 3?
I don't see my signature.
Page 3.
I signed the last page.
Which
of that affidavit.
you have been categorical. Page 3.
I signed the last page of that affidavit.
Good. Now let's go back to the question. You signed it at 8 p.m.
Yes,
And you had been called hurriedly, correct?
yes, sir.
Who called you?
I had a private arrangements with my colleagues and friends.
Which colleague?
Because
Which colleague called you, sir?
there's a gentleman in Kalunga district whom we had
The person who called you to come and sign this document is called who?
the person who called me to sign these documents was called Louis Muwonge.
Good. He's the one you've been referring to as your colleague. Correct?
Yes, sir. That is a colleague in the
He's your colleague in your party.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good. So you sign at 8.
Yes, sir.
But then there is the retracting affidavit, which you had signed at 4 p.m. before you signed this last page. How do you explain the timing? And from signing this particular last page, you rushed to Kayunga for 2 days.
Me, I was not so particular about the dates or timing.
You have been particular. It came from you.
I was not so particular on that particular document.
On the
that
timing.
I signed.
Okay.
All I remember is that by around 8 p.m., I was approached by a group of lawyers
Very good.
at Koto. They gave me a document to sign, but the document only contained the last
That is understood, sir.
That's what? Without reading. Now, I've left the responsibility to the Master Secretary General.
Mr. Kibalama, do not be a paper tiger. A paper tiger receives a question and answers his own. Now answer mine. Okay, 8 p.m. Was it dark? 8 p.m. Was it dark?
It was dark.
And you proceeded. You returned after 2 days. Let's go back to the one of 4 p.m. Was it dark also?
4 p.m. it was daytime.
It was daytime. At a location in Mengo, at your hotel? Rubaga, at your hotel. Now, did you read this affidavit, which was prepared by Barunji, Bayingana, and Kampalato? Did you read through? Good. And it was retracting what was in the original one. By this time, did you know what the contents of the original one, which you signed after Lewis? Did you know the contents?
I didn't know the content because I didn't read it. That's what I'm talking
But you were still retracting the contents.
I just signed the last page of that.
Do you know where this affidavit of prepared?
Prepared with the facts that I happened to read it through. If I,
And you confirmed them?
Yeah.
Well, my lord, for the good of court and time, I will leave the question for now on this. May I say that you are a horrendous liar? Would I be right to say you're a liar? Or somewhere you have lied?
You've been wrong.
I would be wrong. Have you ever told a lie anywhere?
Not in my life.
Not in your life. So even when you were retracting contents of an affidavit you did not know, you were not telling a lie.
I wasn't.
Even when you were signing an affidavit, retracting another which you had not signed, you were not telling a lie. Now, let me just help you to know part of the law. Under section 94(1), as a police officer of the Penal Code, when you tell a lie on oath, you commit an offense called perjury, and you are liable on conviction to a term not exceeding 2 years in prison. Does that help you to apologize to court?
Are those threats or what?
No, it's information. Since you may not, you say you sometimes you forget the law. It's not a threat. Now, do you wish to apologize to court for any lie?
No need, because you haven't told any lie here.
Good. Under the Political Parties and Organizations Act, which you referred to gladly, particularly section 15(3), any political party or organization or any person which or who B furnishes information knowing it to be false in any material particular commits an offense and is liable on conviction the period not exceeding 200 currency points or imprisonment not exceeding 2 years or both. You have confirmed on oath during cross-examination earlier that you submitted false returns knowingly. What do you have to say about the offense you committed?
Well, by the time we worked out these papers and minutes and the resolutions and whatnot, it wasn't clear to us. We didn't intend it. We didn't know we were bound to commit an offense. But we were fulfilling, we were fulfilling our statutory.
So you have been the hold of this position, you said how many? How many years? 16. You have an obligation towards filing returns. and you're not aware that when you file false returns, they are not a sanction.
No, see,
It's not use this quoting.
my lord,
to
all
serve.
documents, not all documents.
Because you hold of that position for
Yes.
16 years.
Yes.
You must know this act in and out. Consequences, penalties, sanctions. So you're saying you're not aware that by making falsehoods, because you said you made false returns,
My lord,
it's an offense?
my lord,
A former police officer?
my lord.
You see, sometimes what I don't want is you to go out celebrating that I put up a spirited fight in saying things which were not relevant. Because you're a senior person, and that's why you're insisting on that page. You see, we don't want to set a bad precedent that someone can get to court and say whatever he wants to say. He says, me, I don't remember that. Me, I don't know these things. If I was committing an offense, I'm not aware that I was committing an offense. A retired police officer. Now, what will the ordinary person in our village say who has been constituted in the party?
My lord, politics in practice is far different in acts and actions.
But you're committing an offense. And you're supposed to be a leader. Why do if your party calls you
What could have,
and you become a prime minister or a vice president?
my lord, what could have prompted that kind of thing is that we had negotiated with a team, another political team on the other side, and they were supposed to facilitate us with the little money that would be given out to delegates in the form of lunch, tea break, and others, and then we were supposed to pay them transport fund. But by the time we reached on that big day of the project, of that meeting, delegate conference, our friends of the other party did not honor their promises. Now,
That pushed you to forge?
that pushed us to see.
We rather commit offenses, but we have to get it through.
No, because we are already notified the electoral commission, they are not saying the other documents.
No.
Now, what we did was to sit forward and made minutes of that particular meeting. We knew what the content of the minutes would be. We knew what our intention intended with that particular meeting. So we wrote minutes. Not really that we were committing an offense, but we are bridging a gap.
But have you, they're allowed you to bridge the gap.
I think actually, my lord, the question is, was he submitting returns that he knew to be false? Simple as that. Whether he knew the law is a different matter. As you submitted these returns, did you know they were false?
There's no.
Did you know they were false?
I didn't know. I didn't know because when we presented the documents to the electoral commission,
Okay.
they honored them. They accepted them.
Okay.
So normally.
So they believe, was the Electoral Commission wrong in believing you? The person who had run a political party for 16 years.
You are not wrong.
They were not wrong in believing you. Good. Do you also agree with me that when a political party is registered, it is a public entity? Yes or no?
And the public good.
And a public good. Good. You were on camera saying that you were promised $5 million before you left the party leadership. Is that correct?
Where was this, sir?
No, I'm asking, is that correct? You were promised $5 million or not?
I'm not aware of that.
You're not aware. That's okay, that's the answer I want. Is it also true that you were selling this political party?
No, sir.
You were not selling.
Political parties are never sold.
I never saw.
And there is no supermarket in Kampala that you can verify that the political party can be sold.
That's correct.
In any case, you may want to ask those politics over what, whether they vote a political party.
I will not cross-examine them. I'll cross-examine. Now, first, if we look at the affidavit, this one, the one sworn on 14th September 2020 at 4 p.m. You state that there were 41 persons who attended the delegates conference. That's in paragraph 7. My Lord, the one in the miscellaneous application. You said we were 41 people or delegates conference to elect the new office bearers. We were 41 people who participated and elected the new office bearers unopposed. Is that true? You can read for yourself since you are literate. Please read paragraph 7. And loud.
In preparation for the 2021 elections in July 2020, we held another meeting at Wakisha Gardens Hotel, Akabire, where we chose new office bearers for the NAP party. And I, National Secretary General for December Kabove, handed over office to the new executive. Once again, due to financial constraints and the ban on political meetings under the COVID-19 regulations, we could not convene a delegates conference to elect new office bearers. We were about 41 people who participated and elected the new office bearers unopposed without proper delegates conference.
Give it to me. Please, go ahead.
We did all this in good faith and for the good of the party intended to keep the party alive.
Give it to me. This is the affidavit which was prepared by your lawyers, Barunji and who? Bayingana. And that was 14th September 2020.
Yes.
Now look at this one of 17th September 2020. Is that your affidavit also? Look at the last page which has a signature. Looking like this. Is that your affidavit? Is that your signature, sir?
Yes, sir.
Good. Dated when?
Dated 17th day of September 2020.
Where did you sign it from?
I think this is the one I signed.
Where did you sign it from?
Baga Road.
Baga Road. At what time? Around 4 p.m. Good. Let me show you the paragraph I want you to read for court. You are literate. Read paragraph 7b, which I have underlined for you.
The resolution and minutes of the extraordinary ladies conference at Akabire on 14th July 2020 are not true as such meeting did not take place. We sat as only 9 people and decided to rubber stamp the 3rd to 9th respondents as the new office bearers.
Okay.
After which we collected signatures, rubber stamped the decision, and even created the ceremonies of the resolution.
Thank you. From 41 to 9, which of the 2 statements is correct? Which of the 2 is correct? At least these affidavits are not drafted by a Wagon company. Different lawyers. So, are they both your lawyers?
No.
So, Is Bayingana, Birungi, and Company Advocates, are they your lawyers?
That's my.
Answer the question. It's a simple. He's mentioning names, not personality.
I don't know the company within which my lawyer read for my lawyer.
When you try to make court look like a surplus and one say, I don't know this one, it's this one, and you make it look so
Honestly, I
valuable.
can clear that for me.
Because it's referring to two documents filed by two lawyers who came. Before that time, I think when the first lawyer came, the issue arose as to whether it was Wamedi and others, and then it was it? But there was a lawyer who came, who was on record here. Then the issue arose as to whether he was representing you.
My lord, actually, is the lawyer who presented that affidavit that we are referring to.
Exactly. So, now, when there are two documents, from your side. Unless they are saying now from the Ruamedis and the Rukwagos, because even this one, I think it's jointly drafted.
Maybe for health, my lord, be reminded not to take overdose. I still need him, my lord. I don't want him to disappear before I finish with him. Okay, Mr. Kibalama, who is your lawyer? Tell court. Who is your lawyer? What by name? What is the name of your lawyer? No. Through the microphone.
My lawyer is seated on your right hand side in the court.
He is called who?
Yes, sir.
He is called who? Do you know his name or you don't? You called him Biamkama.
I don't recall his name.
How did you get to know him?
Through a friend of mine.
Which friend?
Called Prosper.
The friend called the Prosper, the one who introduced you.
Yes.
When was your first time meeting him?
Just within last week.
Which week?
Last week.
Last week? You met him last week. Did he come to Mbale? Please answer.
You mentioned the word Mbale.
Yes, I'm asking. Did he come to Mbale? That's where you met him.
I met him in Kampala for the first time.
When?
I don't remember the particular day.
But you said it's last week.
It was last week. Would be Tuesday.
So when you met last week, what did you sign any documents before with him?
No. I didn't sign any.
You did not sign any documents. So, I will not take you. I won't bother you so much, but answer the question. 41 people, 9 people in 2 different affidavits. Which one is correct?
I think the affidavit
The time is 12 o'clock.
containing 11 people. Is the correct one.
The one of 41 is the correct one.
The one of 9.
It says 9.
The one of 9. Okay. I will show you some document here. Please look at this document.
What's the document I
My
follow?
lord, I'm going to introduce it after you. Does that document bear your signature?
It does.
It does. And what is the second signature on the document?
That's Brother Jojo Note.
Brother Jojo Dot. Did you sign it as president of that party then?
Yes.
And Odoki as what?
Secretary.
Now, please read it for court. Know which document it is.
That at, I read it in
Please read.
I read in many body.
Yes.
At second meeting of the Party National Executive Committee, duly held at College Inn Hotel, Ayagala, on the 3rd November 2005, it was resolved that the quorum of an extraordinary delegates conference be set at 40 delegates, which is the same quorum as that of the ordinary delegates conference. By order of the National Executive Committee, signed by Muwonge Moses, President, Secretary.
Where is the origin of that document? Do you have it?
I wouldn't remember where this document is, but all I can assure you is that
It is your
this
document.
record is at the Electoral Commission. Because while we keep one copy of the document, the rest remains on file.
But that is your document.
Yes, I did.
So the National Executive Committee of your party then, which sat at its second meeting on 3rd November 2005, resolved that the quorum for extraordinary general meetings, delegates conference, be set at 40. Good. Do you know the number of delegates you have in this party?
The number of delegates? We have more than 394.
Since 2005, did you ever convene a meeting of the delegates conference?
I think we've never done that.
You did. Did you place this before the delegates conference? This.
Yeah, but you...
Did you not?
Council,
Did you or you did not?
I do not.
My Lord, I am applying to tender this document owned by the witness through him as part of our evidence. And the reason I'm tendering the photocopy is because we are not in possession of the original. Witness is, and he has fully owned the contents thereof.
I don't have no objection.
We pray that the same be received and that will be allowed later to make copies for the entire back.
The document is coordinated as the Respondents Exhibit RE1.
Thank you, my lord. Mr. Kibalama. When you were founding this political party, was it your intention that you wanted to capture power through this party, through an election?
That's the purpose of one political party.
I am asking about yours.
Yes.
Is it still your vision?
It's still my vision.
Are you still a member of the first respondent? the National Unity Platform, with whom you were sued?
I'm not still a member. Because
You
I'm
remember?
subscribed.
I don't know what the reason. I've taken your answer face value this time. Who is your party president?
As of when,
As we speak.
current party is being led by Ssegona.
Robert Seto. Okay. Sir, are you also aware, or no, is it also true that in this political party, you are the head of the Elders and Advisory Committee?
No, I'm not aware.
You are not aware. But you said it at a press conference. Do you want to look at the video? Did you say it at a press conference?
Can you remind me?
Yes, you said it at a press conference. That you gave the party to young people to lead it. And that you were leading the elders in the party. Do you now remember? Do you trust your memory?
I trust my memory. You see, not anywhere in the written form that I'm the leader or whatever representative.
Is it somewhere in an unwritten
No,
form?
no, no.
Have you ever sat at a press conference with Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu
Where?
in Kampala?
I remember one time at Kamochi.
At Kamochi. What did you state at that press conference?
What did I state in regard to what?
In regard to these people, Basile Defas and Tuala Hassan.
Yeah, I tried to inform
Yes.
whoever was interested
Yes.
here that I knew Rifas as a young man and Kata, both being relatives of my close friend, Colonel Bimusobedde. Because I was so close to Colonel Bimusobedde,
Yes.
he could come and reside at my Muwonge residence, and in most cases I would also come to reside in Kampala. So if I don't have transport to go home, just go and sleep at my house, and that was it.
So you knew Basile Defas and Tuala Hassan as relatives of your friend, Colonel Bimusobedde.
Yes.
Okay. Now, are they members of this party?
That's where the snagger is, because
Yes.
out of courtesy,
Yes.
I delegated these two boys to come at this farewell hotel
Yes.
in 2005 to represent
Represent who?
the party at a political meeting that was taking place between the government of Uganda and the political forces that were meeting at the farewell hotel here.
Okay.
So that's the very first time that these people came on, within the party and to carry out activities of the party. And since then, we didn't,
Never saw them again.
whenever I go to Bimusobedde's house, and this boy was at Makerere University, John Makerere, we never had the time for the party and things like that, for political issues. So he remained there. He knows me, I know him. But it was such a friendly kind of basis. That Basile is the one who used to cater for me when I'm at the residence.
Bimusobedde.
You must say, they cook for you, they do this kind of stuff. So I chose him and said he would go to represent us in this capacity. And did in 2005, Basile and his uncle, former ambassador of Uganda to Russia, Mr. Sam Sakaja, who passed on, he presented us at the farewell hotel meeting. not as because you say whether there's a member of the party
You are not aware.
or not.
Okay, this case was filed on 24th August 2020. Have you, since then, had a discussion with Colonel Jumasiko?
On phone.
Was it on phone? Okay. Did you discuss the case filed by his relatives against you?
Well, my concern to him as a friend
Yes.
is that Juma, why should you have done that to our relatives without necessarily first informing me or meeting over and discussing issues and you agree? You know, that was just concern.
What was his response?
Oh, there are issues that he mentioned to me.
What did he say? You are now in court, just to remind you.
Well, he said they don't know the reason why the boys were behaving in such a manner. That's what he said. I don't know why those boys behaved in such a manner, because even I, as their uncle, I was never informed at all.
You have never met him since then?
I never met him since.
Okay. When you were being cross-examined by Mr. Eric Savage, you mentioned the circumstances which led you to where you are. One of them was being sidelined by the new leadership of the party.
What?
So you're shaking your head in disapproval?
Yes, indeed. Whether I'm satisfied or dissatisfied about this office, holding the second office or the other, it's not my concern really. It doesn't go down in my own feelings that I'm agreed because I don't have a position.
So I cannot.
Yes, you say that's one of the reasons, but then what would be the other reasons or the circumstances that could happen?
Mr. Ssegona, I don't understand the circumstances I talked to not being here.
Yes.
Is that you are fully aware that I was disconnected in the public affair of normal life about 2 weeks ago. I hear my house is being secured by organizations that I don't understand. So from that moment up to today, I'm here because of those circumstances that I can't explain. Now I don't know those circumstances that cannot be explained by me. That's why I'm here. Under very unclear circumstances. Although I've come now to understand it is a court case, and I'm here to answer for and on behalf of the court.
Who informed you that you were required to come to court today?
Someone smuggled. Someone smuggled the newspaper. In the place where I was. He said, you such very much. You go to court. I looked at the newspaper. And yes, it is true that
You were required.
that's the time I understood I was required here. That's it. I didn't have any control over myself.
Who had control over yourself?
I don't know. Because
You were also filmed saying that the leadership of the National Unity Platform reached their agreement with you. Were you expressing your mind freely, or you had some other form of circumstances that you cannot explain?
I request for your protection. He's asking me whether that people was under duress or whatever means they were going to this.
The challenge is if we have not sworn contradictory affidavits and maybe appeared for cross-examination, there have been a civil way of doing it. So you come here and testify and say, these are the circumstances. But sometimes when you invite yourself into throwing different documents now, Mr. Ssegona, you could rephrase the question?
Yes, my lord, I'm making as much restraint as possible professionally. But this is a witness who is before you. And if he needs your protection, he will have to state it. May I ask you, therefore, is there any way you would like God to assist you out of the circumstances where you are?
At the moment,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say such a thing because even here where we are,
Yes.
there's a degree of protection which is not of my own,
Yes.
but I hope at the end of this cross-examination, things may change for the better.
You hope things may change for the better.
I hope.
Okay. Well, I can perfectly understand the agony of an old man shedding tears in circumstances of this nature. You will forgive me, but I will ask some questions very politely and ask you to compose yourself as you answer them. You've had a meeting with the Director General of the Internal Security Organization. Was that your free will in that meeting?
I've been thinking before.
Before. So you've never met him up to now?
No.
And the CDF?
I met the CDF.
When?
On the holiday.
Yes. When was this meeting?
It was also another Sunday.
Yes.
I was running from Ayagala.
Yes.
Because our bed was being monitored.
Okay.
So we get your telephone and say, oh, you see where you are, and we need you here. We need you to answer a few questions here. So since we are not friends of any nature,
Yes.
we go there and explain ourselves.
Yes.
So I went in. It was a cordial kind of chat.
Yes.
But about 4-5 questions, which one needed to answer. Here's the answer. Eventually told us that we're free. Go to your home. That's what.
And you went.
Yes.
And the discussion was about national interplatform, confirmed.
It was about national unity.
Was it about treason?
It's nothing.
Nothing like treason. But you're discussing about the change of leadership and name of the party. Was security concerned that this could be illegal?
That what could be legal.
That the change of name and leadership would be illegal?
No, I didn't have such a concern.
No, from their perspective as security of the country.
I just wonder, something comes as a surprise.
Indeed.
And you say, oh, so by making internal changes
would be security would be
questioning
yes.
at a higher level.
Yes. Who else attended that meeting apart from the CDF?
My lord.
I can drop it, and I understand the circumstances. Have you since met the President of the Republic?
Never.
document. So when you left the CDF's office, you proceeded home, right?
I went home.
You went home. Until when?
I think I met the CDF on Sunday.
Yes.
But I think on the Tuesday.
Yes.
As I was driving from home.
Yes.
That's when I was talked by some individuals, the civilian courts, asking me issues, which issues are very well explained.
The issues related to this party game.
It's the nature of the party.
Yes.
But it wasn't much. They didn't do anything wrong then.
Yes.
They said, can we see you by 4 p.m.? I said, fine.
Yes.
At 4 p.m.,
Yes.
after this time, this is where
After this time, this is where you are. Okay, was this before or after you had signed these two affidavits that I have shown? That was that was before you signed the affidavit.
No, wait. I had signed the affidavit with my lawyers.
Okay.
I signed the affidavit with my lawyers. There was no duress, there was no nothing wrong. So, the issue of affidavit is clearly, I wouldn't say.
Did you used to issue political party membership cards in your party
In which period?
before you handed over office?
Our party never issued
Party cards.
membership cards because of reasons. We are a young political party, and no funding from anywhere. Now, we bring in people by way of giving cards. These people will turn around maybe a year or two. So, they put false claims, such. So we are avoiding the issue of party cards.
You have answered my question. Would you look at this supplementary affidavit of yours and in particular read paragraph 9.
I swear this affidavit, supplement my security affidavit, done by Muwonge, Uganda, the company case, the contents of which speak the truth as such.
Which means, therefore, you had also instructed Bayingana and Bayingana Barungi and company advocates. That's why you were supplementing their affidavit. Would you want, and let me find the way to phrase it. Would you want this court to help you in regaining your freedom? This court is powerful enough to do it.
I wish.
You wish the court would help you
Yes.
regain you.
Please, stop your ground.
First, Mr. Kibalama, as a lawyer for the last 18 years, sometimes we are misunderstood. Please understand my questions in good faith, as you did say. We talked about good faith. Would you want your family to visit you where you are?
Well, it's unfortunate that my family is not in Uganda. You could have visited me. Be around.
You would have wanted them around. At some point, you, because you're still in those hands, I will not ask this question. I don't. You will forgive me.
If you are done, please.
No, I am not done. I was asking a question that I consider personal, but again for the security.
Now I'm going to limit the time. We are not going to have Mr. Kibalama here for the whole day.
Yes, true, my lord. With that, my lord, I'll rest my case. I express sympathy to you, and I wish you luck in regaining your freedom.
Please, avoid your grammar, please.
Make clarify something which I have stated when you are being cross-examined. The first one, you are saying you need to quote
Get on record. Someone who's transcribing should know that it's another lawyer.
So I need the end of my lord, counsel for the second and then respondents. Some things that they have asked you the last question. And you have stated that you reach for toilet to regain your freedom. Which freedom you want to toilet to regain? And who has taken it away from you? Just feel free to ask.
Well, it's in the public domain. And then the newspapers everywhere that some of my colleagues and friends have been honestly looking for me on many occasions. And they failed to find me until some organ had to clarify that we have him. Secure him.
Listen now.
Yes.
Those colleagues you are referring to, who you are saying have been hurting for you, are you referring to Shagulani Center, Mutsari responded, David Lewis, Aisha Kabanda, Joe Sengini, and those others you know who you are sweet together with you? Are they the ones you are referring to?
Not at all.
Then which colleagues are you referring to? I don't know what
It's not about clarity. You be mindful. For them, they were free to throw any type of questions. Now, when you also begin now getting into certain things you are not comfortable disclosing, now you are opening.
Now, you just stated that the one Center Muchakulani is the current new president. So, could you briefly tell me when was he voted in office as the president for the party?
Well, I understand he was voted 17.
When?
In a delegates conference at Kachiri.
Of which year? Which year was it?
This year.
This year?
Yes.
Do you know the people who participated in his election?
Objection, my lord, it never arose.
Then you said that you have to talk to your colleagues to mobilize facilitation.
My?
To mobilize facilitation for a meeting.
Yes.
Which meeting are you referring to?
Meeting of, I think 2018, the hotel triangle meeting.
You are saying which we
The hotel triangle meeting. That's where we require funds to facilitate the delegates.
Now, what was the purpose for that intended meeting?
The purpose, the main purpose of the intended meeting was to have the party name changing from NUPRP to NUP. That was the purpose, sole purpose.
Now, whom had you said would facilitate that meeting with the reporting?
That cultural meeting would be facilitated
by who?
By, I would say by Shawani, but I would say by that grouping, people up. Because the main interest of that meeting was to have that name there, so that the name could fit in our activities. So they had to finance it, which they didn't do.
So in brief, are you telling what it never took place?
I object, my lord. In re-examination, you do not give answers to the witness.
You're obliged, my lord. Now, you've said that since 2005, you used to convene some delegates conference. So, who among the defendants, I mean the respondents, your correspondents, used to participate in those meetings? If you remember.
Objection, my lord.
I don't know what you're doing. Your question you have in mind.
No, Melos, that's what your witness stated when he was
What did he say?
He said, my lord, since 2005, they had planned several delegates conferences. Then I'm saying,
so what do you want?
at that time,
So what do you want? What arises out of that?
who is participating in those delegates conferences?
No, don't get that. Ask another question.
Okay, you've been shown several affidavits. One of them sought by your current, no, one of them drafted by your current lawyers, and others drafted by your former lawyers. In the brief, tell report, which one among the affidavits do you intend to put to rely on?
I think what relies on the affidavits.
Which one are you referring to as the current lawyers? If you first clarify to him.
Okay.
Because
It's one.
the supplementary 18 is done by two law firms.
Yes, my lord.
Then, and I have the James and Garland.
Yes, my lord.
So unless you are saying these are now seized, or these are the current lawyers now.
Those are the current lawyers.
According to your question. Now, the other affidavit is by Barundi alone, without a habit.
Yes, my lord. Then there's one by...
Ask your question now. The other one is by the court.
by Rupago.
That's the category now. Clarify.
So, Mr. Kibalama, there are three affidavits on court record. One filed by Rupago and Kabana advocates. The other one filed by Barundi and Kabana advocates. Then the subsequent one, now the current one, which was filed by Henry James and company advocates.
My objection, my lord, is on a point of law. Is it within the power of the witness to decide which evidence should be relied on before court, when actually the evidence is before court? And where did that arise in cross-examination?
My lord, close the cross-examination, these affidavits have been several put on board, and the witness has been asking about them. So they can create a position and tell constitutionally he intends to rely on that contains the full supporting things. So my lord doesn't.
It's unnecessary, but let him answer. The rest is up to you.
You've had my question, and we are required to answer it.
I will rely on the two affidavits from the two companies that you just mentioned, and I wouldn't rely on the affidavit of Muwonge and the company advocates, for I don't know that company. I don't know how they came to do that. There was a client of Wameri and company for the last 14 years. My lawyer is there.
And he said he did it jointly with Muwonge.
Wameri,
Because in the beginning of this affidavit, it says Moses Muwonge Kibalama, care of MS Muwonge and company advocates, then MS Wameri and company advocates, then MS Pace advocates, and Muwada and company advocates, and MS Kiwanuka Kanyago and company advocates.
my lord, that's where I don't want to indulge myself in the administration of this case, for this matter before court.
But Wameri was a lawyer for the party.
No. He's been a lawyer.
He has been your lawyer.
In other circumstances.
Yes, now
for the last 12 years.
In this matter, he came in
this
all
matter,
capacity for the party yourself and.
Wamedi is just a friend, as I know, and he's a law firm.
No, let's avoid no semantics. We are serious.
Yes.
You said you don't know the problem. Now, why I read you all these law firms is for you to appreciate that the affidavit, your addresses were by all these law firms.
Of the four firms.
But you're aware of Wamedi.
Because I've dealt with him for the last 12 years.
You're aware of him. Don't tell me about
Yes.
For this matter, you dealt with him.
Yes, I dealt with him because
That's enough.
Even the
That's
president-
enough. That's enough. Proceed.
You have not answered. I asked which
He
one among them?
answer, please proceed. Unless you are not paying attention. That's why I'm asking him about Wamedi. My question arose from his answer. When he said he knows these two, he doesn't know this one. That's why I was reading him the other law firms. Said Ukwago, but the address of the preamble to the affidavit clearly shows that there were other law firms. It's not only Ukwago. That was my question. That's why I wanted him to confirm whether Wamedi was his lawyer, and he said yes, he's his lawyer.
Now, who commissioned the affidavit which was filed?
No, don't get there.
Objection, my lord.
Unless you don't know what you're doing. Just don't jump on any question that you have.
Then we have to put our case, we have no further questions.
Because we didn't go into where did you swear from, what happened. You want to open a whole new thing. Mr. Kibalama, you are discharged. Can we get the other one?
Agombe
Single. Please, I'm going to regulate the time. I think we cannot be here endlessly.
It's going to be a very short one, my lord.
Please, let it be. Officer, call another witness.
I swear by the Almighty God.
I swear by the Almighty God
That the evidence I'm going to give.
that the evidence I'm going to give
Touching the matter before court.
touching the matter before
Shall
court
be the truth.
shall be the
The whole
truth,
truth.
the whole truth,
Nothing but the
nothing but the
truth. So
truth.
help me God.
So help me God.
Yes, Mr. Simba Paul.
Yes, sir.
Can you repeat your full name?
So this was summarized, yes, how many affidavits that you are relying on? Are they two or?
My lord, there are two affidavits. Three also. There's one of 17. There's one of 14. There's also another one of 14. And maybe for clarity, my lord, the one of 14 was done by Barunji, Bingana, and co-advocates. Another one was made by joint today by Waneri, Kwago, Pest, and Water. And the other one was made by a joint farm of Ahebo James, co-advocates, together with Barunji, Bingana.
Yes, let's proceed.
Yes, Mr. Silva Paul, what do you do for a living?
I am a self-employed person. I'm an engineer, telecom engineer, and I run my personal company.
You are a telecom engineer.
Yes.
And you also have a private company.
Yes.
What is your role in National Unity Party platform?
I am the Senior Administrative Secretary of the National Unity Platform.
So it is your evidence that the National Unity Platform is a fully registered party and you are the new is the Senior Administrative Secretary. Your position,
yes,
is in the National Unity Platform.
Yes.
And that is your position.
Yes.
And I believe you are the current Administrative Secretary for that.
I am doing.
I've also been told that you also had another position before you changed the party name. What was your position?
I was a Deputy Secretary General for some period and then elected Secretary General towards that was in January.
So you were you rose in 2 ranks.
Yes.
In the same party.
Yes.
The 3 affidavits all borne by you for this one I report.
I am certain of the 3 affidavits.
In the one of the affidavit, the one drawn by Vingana, the one of 14 and 18, you are recruited this party by Mr. Kibalama, the second respondent.
I beg your pardon?
You were recruited this party by the second respondent, Mr. Kibalama.
Yes.
And you also state that it's your maternal uncle.
It is true.
And you have high respect for an uncle, I guess.
Nobody wouldn't have respect for his maternal uncle.
Please answer. Some of
Yes.
us
You have high respect.
You answer for yourself.
I do have respect.
And you moved together in this political journey, in transiting from National Unity Republic Party to National Unity Platform.
We moved together.
You did move together
We moved together.
as the Secretary General.
Yes.
You also can confirm this one in court that you applied for the change of name, the Electoral Commission, as the Secretary General.
That application was
Did you apply?
as a party we did.
And your application was successful, the Electoral Commission.
True.
That very application was based on the records that you submitted to the Electoral Commission. Was that the basis for the change of name? Was it based on the records you submitted to the Electoral Commission?
Yes.
On 14th September, in your evidence, you say you are, after consulting, you now denounce the evidence you gave in Kwago's law firm, the evidence you gave there. Now, can you confirm this on record that you met Wameri, you and your uncle, and others, and came up with evidence you are owning in the law firm of Kwago? Because it is in your evidence, I can read it to you. You want me to read it for you? That on Sunday 13th of September 2020, I made an affidavit in reply to the above matter using MS Kwago and advocates with my legal counsel, which was subsequently filed in court together with a band of other affidavits in reply to the first denials responded. That's what you say. Is that true?
It is true.
Oh, that's true.
Yes.
And which law firm, where did you go? To Kwago. That's what you say. You and your lawyer.
Then Kwago company advocates?
Yes.
Yes.
No, where were you?
When?
On 13th of September 2020.
It was that Sunday when I was at the office at the National Unity Platform.
Yes.
And I was actually, it was not Council Ameri, it was Brian. It was
Kwago.
Brian of Kwago,
Yes.
whom I sat with, and we came up with that affidavit. Yes.
In that meeting, who else was in the meeting? Was your uncle in the meeting here? I mean, Mr. Kibalama.
Mr. Kibalama wasn't in the meeting.
So who else was in the meeting?
It was Council Lewis, who is the Executive Secretary of the National Unity Platform, and Brian.
Now,
This one will not take long.
in that very meeting, you recall the entire affidavit for 14.
Come again?
Before Brian,
Yes.
you stated that very evidence and you signed it.
Yeah, but of course it was
No, you
Yes,
signed it.
yes. Now,
What prompted you to put further evidence after continuing?
it was after I signed this affidavit, the first affidavit, with Bago and company advocates, that I made consultations, because in the first place,
You made consultation?
yes, from him. I made consultation because from my other councils.
You had other lawyers at this point?
Yes, because what happens, I had other lawyers, because I do other
Who are these
cases.
lawyers? Who are these lawyers that you consulted? And what was the nature of consultation? Because you had already opposed the
You know,
application.
the nature of consultation, you see why I had to sign this, because
No, it is not why you signed it, why you consulted.
I consulted because I wasn't satisfied with what I signed, having been bundled together, and I was just made to sign as a group. After signing this, it came into my mind and I consulted. And then after
So the
consultation,
consultation was about the issue of you being bundled to have evidence as a group.
Yes.
And you wanted to have your own affidavit.
yes, because I wasn't.
Did you look through the first affidavit?
My first affidavit?
Yes.
Yes, I did.
And what you stated there, you believed was true. In that very affidavit. At that point.
This is why I wanted to give that clarity to you. Why I consulted and came up with the second affidavit.
No, when you are signing this evidence, this affidavit.
Having
They
been,
gave the
having
affidavit, you
been
read it
as a
through.
group, and I was not given the main sheet to read through,
But you are
I
not a
signed
group.
as a group.
You are not a group. You had only
Yes?
Brian Okwabo and some other party person. So you're only three. Was that a group?
When I looked at the main sheet where I was the ninth respondent.
No, in the very time when you in Okwabo was taking the evidence, were you a group?
No, I wasn't a group.
So what you were writing, what was read over to you, you believe it was a true fact of what happened
Yes?
before you consulted.
Yes?
Now, it means when you consulted, there was change of position.
True.
Did you carry together with the evidence you made at Okwabo to the new lawyers? Did you carry your evidence, your affidavit, the new lawyers? And it,
I wasn't given a copy from the previous law firm that I signed with the first affidavit, so I didn't carry the evidence that I signed first.
so the new lawyers prepared evidence and gave you to sign.
Yes.
So you found it prepared
No.
after consultation.
No.
You found the affidavit
I
prepared.
didn't find it prepared because this is what I spoke to them.
When you consulted, you decided to concede to the application. What were you conceding? Well, that's what you stated in paragraph 3 of the affidavit of Ayagala James and Balungu. You said after consulting, you decided to concede to the application. What motivated you into conceding?
What motivated me into conceding was the truth that I had to speak out.
What was this truth that you want God to listen to? And what was the lie?
Having been in that position as Deputy Secretary General and into Secretary General of the National Unity Reconciliation and Government Party, I was reached out by the then party president, that is Mr. Muwonge, and he told me there was a concern by Honorable Ayagala, who is also Bobiwine, to have a venture with us. I don't know the numerous meetings we had, but he told me we had to have a meeting. So we went to Akabire and had a meeting with him. In that meeting was Councillor Luis, Chairman Nyanzi, myself and Mr. Kibalama. So in that meeting, we all came up and agreed because there was an interest of working with us, and this party was so long, National Reconciliation and Development Party. It was him who actually came up with an idea that we shorten the name to National Unity Platform. Yes. And we all agreed after that meeting in Ayagala. Then we proceeded, and the then party president made a budget, of course, through consultation with other members, and the budget was drawn and presented to the people who said they were going to fund the process of calling for a delegates conference and going about with whatever that was supposed to be gone about to change the pattern. Yes. We proceeded and waited after presenting the budget. We waited and waited because in this process we had to notify Electoral Commission of our intentions to change the party name, which they agreed to, and they gave us a go-ahead to change. So as this date drew closer, I asked him about where the funding was going to come from. I never heard from the other party though, till the time when it was really the big day to have the delegates conference. So we didn't have anything to run about to...
Anything you mean money to facilitate the process?
Of course, we needed to have resources to put up, like hire a hotel, invite guests and the rest of it. How do you get such kind of things? So that's why budget was drawn. However, the budget was not funded, and when that day came, which we had notified the Electoral Commission, we asked ourselves what we were going to do. So we sat down.
You and who?
It was me, Mr. President, the then President Muwonge, and we agreed that we don't let this chance go like that.
And the chance was transiting the party from
National Reconciliation and Development Party to NUP.
So at that point, you still had the intention to change the name?
Of course, when this was suggested, we all...
the chance you are talking about. The chance you don't want, that you never wanted to let go.
Yeah, was to change the party name.
Then finally it is changed. Let's forget about
the party name was changed, and we of course we knew the integrity that was required by the Electoral Commission, that is the resolutions, the minutes and everything. So we arranged these and presented them. That is why.
So to you, what was required was submitted.
Yes.
For the change of the party name.
Yes.
And that is the evidence you gave while you were at Okwago. That what was required to change the party name was done.
This is the evidence
that you gave while at Okwago's farm, that what was required to change the party name.
Issue here, we are mixing.
No, forget about the issue.
Yes.
Forget about the issue. My question is very simple. At that point, when you were taken to court, you're giving a proper account of what transpired for you to be able to change the name. That's what happened. Forget about the budget. That's what you stated in the affidavit of the court. Can I read it to you?
Yeah, you have read that, and I think I've told you I said a second affidavit.
Wait, forget about the second affidavit. At that point, you are giving the proper account of what transpired.
Yes.
Now, when you did the second affidavit and when you are proceeding, what was your issue here? What really made you backtrack? And now the issue is about the budget.
What I've told
we are using it as
what I've told this honorable court is that we went through this process, okay? Yes. And we changed the name.
This one explains
it's not going through.
No, I'm just asking that in anticipation that you will be facilitated. Well, that's why there was a budget.
No. We are mixing two things here. I don't want us to draw so close to the issue of the budget because it is what could have necessitated the process to be right as it were supposed to be done. However, in the absence of that, we just sat down and made these minutes which we presented to the Electoral Commission, and the Electoral Commission granted the change of the name. This is what I mean to say here.
Do you have a problem with that? That you presented records, and based on that, the Electoral Commission changed.
This is why I had to change from my first statement that I made, and thought after consultation.
So when did you get to know that actually what you did was wrong? Is it between 14th when you saw an affidavit in Kwagozoro farm and when you saw another affidavit, that is the time? You are motivated by what? Well, that process, the change of name has been done, you have been elected to a new position. Yes. What was the issue in between? The old lawyers and the new lawyers?
The issue here is, what
No, not the issue. Me, I want what changed you to really transit from that position, other position.
You have mentioned something of having come to the new leadership.
Yes.
Okay? We agreed on how we are going to be running in the new leadership.
Yes.
However, things still didn't work the way we agreed.
So the issue is that in the new leadership, what you agreed was not, if they never lived up to the promise, that's why you changed?
It is so.
That's why you changed?
Yes.
The issue is not that you really changed your affidavit because you had submitted false declaration. The issue is about they did not follow their principle or their member support you, whatever you had.
It's like
you are telling court that what you had agreed with the old leadership.
I will stand to speak what I have to speak.
Yes.
Nothing but the truth.
Proceed as you report.
I've told you, I changed my mind because we were 9 people who were onto the shoot. And I was made to sign through Rukwago and company advocates when I had not even seen the lawyers of Rukwago and the company. But we didn't sit down. We didn't sit down to agree onto this. I was just told. They read me the affidavit and I signed. So I did that. I read it through, but it was hurriedly.
Yes. Don't make us look foolish. You said, he cross-examined and said, did you read through? You said yes. Now you are saying they read through. They read for me.
Your Worship, I read through the affidavit.
Don't begin changing statements.
I read
You read through the affidavit and you signed.
And I signed.
I want to bring you back to where we had reached.
Yes.
You had told this one in the court that when you had that understanding at Magere, when you transit to a new national unity platform, you were supposed to have run the party in a different mode or manner, which was not done. Is that your evidence?
It stems back from what we did.
No. Is that your evidence? That you had an understanding that the moment we change the party name, I'm going to retain this position, or we are supposed to run in this manner?
That is not mentioned anywhere in my affidavit.
Okay. Now, Mr. Simba Paul, you later proceeded and did another affidavit with another lawyer in the space of 4 days. One with Lingana and another one with this one. And in all these activities, you said you considered the application. What were you conceding to? Because the application said that what we did in changing the party name was wrong. Is this the very fact that you are conceding to? Or there was a change of mind after the sign after? What were you conceding to?
I was conceding to the fact that the party name was changed, not following.
Sorry?
I was conceding to the fact that all that was done during the process of changing the party name wasn't done in accordance with what our party constitution says.
So you, and this is basically the minutes or the information you gave the Electoral Commission.
Exactly.
So what did you do wrong that you want this one to know? in that very process? And with who?
It was giving false information to the Electoral Commission.
Who was giving false information? You, the secretary?
Together with the party president.
Who else?
And 2 other members of the executive.
Now, at that point, were you aware that what we are doing was criminal?
Can I know the 2 other members?
The other 2 members, you said that when you were trying to craft.
These 2 other members were Winston Chibozi and William Odinga.
William,
Odinga.
position?
Winston Chibozi was then the party treasurer, and then Odinga was in charge of mobilization and publicity.
Proceed.
So you, the false declaration being what? The resolutions? What were these false declarations, the Electoral Commission?
These were the resolutions that were made, the minutes that were filed, and the attendance list of people who didn't actually attend the meeting.
So it is your evidence that all those were falsified.
Yes.
They were forged.
They were forged.
And you participated in the forgery?
I did participate.
You said you are an engineer?
Yes.
I believe with a bachelor's at that point. So you participated in forgery, and that is your evidence of what?
If it still assists me to speak the truth, this is what happened.
Now, at that point, was the Electoral Commission aware that what you were submitting was forged?
The Electoral Commission wasn't aware.
So what you submitted, at the face of it, one will not even detect that it was a forgery. Attendance list.
Unless you've looked at critically by handwriting experts.
But if with no handwriting, you couldn't say that it is a forgery attendance.
I believe this is why the Electoral Commission accepted.
Have you ever written to Electoral Commission since your time? When you discovered, when you became born again? Instead of coming to court, you say, no, Electoral Commission, I'm very sorry, I was part of this scam.
Your worship, no.
No further question.
It's a simple Paul Kagombe. How old are you?
I'm 39 years old.
You were saying you're an engineer. Do you have a bachelor's degree? And from where? When?
It is from Chambogo. That
When?
was in 2002.
2002.
It's a degree.
Is it a degree?
It's a diploma. It's not a bachelor's.
An engineer must possess a degree. Do you agree?
I do agree with you.
You agree with me? So for starters, do not lie to quote that you're an engineer.
All right.
Number 2, where do you reside?
I reside at Komamboga.
Komamboga Kawema.
Anyanya.
Okay.
Did you come from Komamboga this morning to come to Kochi? Yes.
I didn't come from Kumamboga this morning as I was coming.
For the last 2 weeks, have you been with Mr. Kibalama? Have been staying with Mr. Kibalama somewhere other than home?
Yes.
And that's bad.
Yes.
Under state protection. Yes?
I couldn't really tell this, whether it was under state protection.
Did you drive your car to Mbale? Or you were taken there by someone? And please do not create stories which are false.
No,
because the court
yes,
already has
yes.
evidence.
And it's stories.
Did you drive yourself to Mbale? Or you were taken by someone?
We were taken by some.
By someone. And that is security. The security of this car. No, don't ask him. He had put his story. Put yours.
I couldn't tell because how I have known this is security and this is not security when there are no guns involved in this.
Did you apply to them to take you to Mbale?
I just went with him. I didn't apply from them to take me.
You did not apply. And your family has since been looking for you. Are you aware? Are you aware, sir?
Does he have a home?
Sorry?
Does he have a family?
I
Because
have.
he may be throwing it to him and man
Thank you, my lord. He's answering.
I have a family. I'm married with 3 children,
Okay.
and my wife is pretty aware of where I have been, and she has not logged in any complaint whatsoever that she's looking for me.
But she's not looking for you.
I mean, she's at home, and all along she has not told me somebody has gone home looking for me, and she has never asked me that she's looking for me.
For those last 2 weeks, have you been working?
For the last 2 weeks,
Yes.
yes.
Where have you been working?
I told you I have a company that works, telecom bills, and I employ people. So it doesn't necessarily mean being physically.
Have you reported, have you been to your office for those 2 weeks?
Not been at the office, but I've been able to communicate to the people who are doing my work.
On on 14th September 2020, you did swear to affidavits. No, just before. I'm not very sure. Sorry, I retract, and I'll ask you the questions as well. I want you to look at this particular affidavit, which you said you signed, Harry. This affidavit, not the one in the back. That one. At what time did you swear it? You see that?
Yeah, you see it.
At what time did you sign it?
You mean signing?
The one of Lukwago and Company.
Signing or swearing?
Signing.
It was around. It was at around
4 p.m. 5 p.m. Good. And that was, you said at Kamocha? Did you start Kamocha at your office in Kamocha? On that day, what time did you leave office?
I left immediately after signing. It was around 5:30.
Around 5:30. Where did you go?
I went to Kampala Road. It was Uganda Road at a Hotel Triangle, and I picked Mr. Muwonge and dropped him to Muwonge.
I see, you picked Mr. Muwonge and you dropped him to Muwonge. That's his residence. What time did you deliver him in Muwonge?
We drive all, make the stopovers, so I can't. It was around 8 or some.
Around 8. You left him in Muwonge and went back to Kamau. When did you see him again thereafter?
I saw him the following day. Actually, I saw him after 2 days.
Okay. Saw him after 2 days.
Can you give specific now? Because we shall get those.
Yes, my lord. 14th. So did you see him on 16th?
It was 14th.
Yeah.
Then
You did not see him on 15th.
I didn't see him on 15th.
Did you see him on 16th?
Yeah, I saw him on 16th.
Where did you meet?
I met him in town.
Town is big,
I
even
met
where
him
we are
at
is town.
Uganda Road.
At Uganda Road, at the same hotel.
Not at the hotel, there is an office there.
You met him at the same hotel.
Not at the hotel, there is an office where I met him along Uganda Road.
Along Uganda Road. Which office is that? Does he have an office there or you have an office there? Do you have an office there or does he have an office there?
He doesn't have an office there, neither do I have one there, but I found him at an office at Uganda Road.
Like, is it a school office, a hospital office?
No, it isn't. It is that office is owned by one lawyer, Tugumi.
One lawyer called Tugume.
A friend, I believe, to him.
A friend to him. Okay. So what did you transact in that office? Mr. Tugume. Yes. Nothing. Okay. Now, do you know these people calling themselves Barungi, Bayingana and Company advocates?
Barungi, Bayingana and Company advocates?
Yes.
I know them.
Where is their office?
Their office is located in Fort Portal.
Okay. Have you visited them in Fort Portal?
I've not visited them.
Who do you know in that office in particular?
I know Council Muhinda.
Who?
Council Muhinda and Council Prosper.
And Council who?
Prosper.
Prosper. Have you had a meeting with them in Fort Portal regarding this case?
No.
No. Have you ever discussed this case with them?
Yes.
From where?
I discussed this matter after consulting with them at Nick building, that is in Kampala.
In Nick building on the street or in some office?
What's in some office?
Some office. Whose office was that?
That office is for one Council George Biamkama.
George Biamkama. Is Mr. George Biamkama in this court? If you look at all of us, I could be that young. Is he not in this office? Look here at us, the lawyers. Look at the public. Is he here?
He isn't.
He's not. He's not.
No, Judge William is not in this court.
He has an office at Nick Building.
He has an office at Nick Building on the 65th floor.
At the 60th floor. How, if he's shown to you, would you be able to point him out?
Yes.
Have you met him before?
Yes, I've met him before.
Sorry, I wasn't
Is he
paying
the
attention. I
second
asked you.
gentleman on from the right?
George,
The gentleman putting on glasses. He's not the one. What was the subject of the discussion, Mr. George?
I guess.
Who is not this one?
Actually, it is where I took off from. Yeah.
That's where you signed the affidavit from. Look at this affidavit, Harold. I'm looking at the affidavit in MA 490-296. Look at this. And look, is that the affidavit you signed from his office? Look at the signature at the back. No trouble.
This is my signature.
That's your signature. Is that the affidavit you signed at Mr. George Biamkama's office at Nick Building?
Let me have a look. Unfortunately, mine is not commissioned.
So, yeah. Pass it on. Well, my lord would need for them transit facilities. Is that the affidavit that you signed from Mr. George Biamkama's office?
Yes, this was signed.
Okay. So who attended that meeting?
I signed this.
When you signed it, who was in that meeting?
There was George William.
Yes.
There was Anson Hinda and Prosper.
And the Council Prosper. Okay. Now, so in that office, you discussed issues to do with this case. And that is where you changed the earlier position from. Correct? Now, look at the signature that you put on this. What date does it bear? The same affidavit, my lord, of in the MA.
Here's the date of 14 September
2020. And the subject in that is to retract the earlier affidavit which you signed hurriedly. Confirm.
Yes.
Good. Return it as my property. Who gave you the advice of retracting your earlier deposition? Who advised you?
It was Anson Hinda after South of him.
Is Council Hinda in this court? Is he in this court?
Yes, he is.
Where is he? Would you point him out? I hope I'm not the one. Is the gentleman at my extreme right on this team, after I had consulted. So, on the same day, did you sign two affidavits, sir?
On the same day, I didn't sign affidavits.
Thank you. Now, at what time did you sign this affidavit in Bimusobedde's office? Morning, afternoon, night?
It was in the morning hours before that.
Before? Before 1 o'clock. Good. Gentlemen, have you ever heard of something called perjury, which is telling a lie on oath? Yes or no?
I've ever had it.
Do you know it?
I know it.
Do you know it's a criminal offense?
I know it's a criminal offense.
Did you commit perjury? Why are you committing perjury now? No. You signed an affidavit on 14th September 2020 at 5:30 in Kamwatch. You signed an affidavit retracting that one on the same date in the morning. And you are not telling a lie.
I beg your pardon?
You want to beg my pardon?
Yes.
You have.
I did.
You said you signed at 5.
Yes, the same day.
This one you signed in the morning before 1 o'clock.
And you were retracting one you had not signed.
The challenge here
When
could
you
have
have
been,
forgotten that you're under oath.
the challenge could have been the date because I signed. Maybe it
That's why his first question was, did you sign on 14? You said yes. That's why he took you to the timeline now. What time did you sign which one? He said the other one was about 5:30.
No,
Now this one was about 1 o'clock.
in my own understanding, I didn't sign two affidavits on the same day. This is why
So you're
it
not
contradicts me. No.
But the date, what date did you put?
What date did you?
Give him the documents.
Sir,
Let me see the documents.
this is the one you signed hurriedly at Kamwatch. This is the one you signed not hurriedly, where you took your time, and after consultation at Nick Building. On the same date, they bear the same date. You have a diploma in engineering.
This one bears 17 and this one bears 14.
Oh. Oh, sorry. About 14th is sorry. Yes, for this is the one. Here you go. That is the one at Nick Building. Right. Do they bear the same date of 14th September?
They do bear the same dates.
14th
Of the
September.
14th September.
And that was at Nick Building.
What I want to clarify on these dates, when I signed the first affidavit, actually I was asked to sign and not put the date.
Okay.
And I didn't put the date myself. I signed, but I didn't put the date.
On both of them?
No.
Which one?
Actually, both of these, the first one which I signed from Pamocha, I was asked not to put the date, which intention I didn't understand because it was not really so much involved.
But the year was 14. You're confirming.
This is what I can't really tell, Your Honor. The date, I can't really be so specific when it's not me who wrote in my own handwriting the date.
But when was it filed in court?
You open the first page of the same.
This.
It is here. 15th.
It was filed on 15th of September.
You may now return it and rest for more questions. So, in the meeting that you had with the Director General of ISO, what did you discuss?
In the meeting,
Yes. You held with the Director General of Internal Security Organization. What did you discuss?
I have not held any meeting with the Director General
Of ISO.
of ISO.
Do you know him?
I hear about his name.
What is his name?
Is Kata.
Colonel Kata. Okay. In the other meeting that you had with the CDF, Chief of Defense Forces, at his office, in the presence of Mr. Kibalama, what did you discuss?
I've not had such meetings myself.
Has Mr. Kibalama ever told you about any?
No.
Even when you were in Bali where you are with him?
He has not shared with me such meetings. I don't know what it is because they are highly sensitive. I don't know. I've not heard about that.
So he may not have trusted.
Could be.
Mr. Kibalama says, one, when you signed the affidavit, the original affidavit which you say signed for Kamoja, for he moved to Kayunga and not to Guam. Okay? You are saying you took him to Guam, and before you picked him at after 5:30. When you were signing this affidavit, which you signed hurriedly, was Mr. Kibalama also in that meeting?
I want to clarify on that. Mr. Kibalama signed his affidavit. I was with him. He signed from Koto at one place. I don't know what it's called, but it's a garden and I think.
But you were there with him?
Yes, I was there with him.
What time was it?
It was at around 6.
6 p.m.
Yes.
From there, did you proceed with him?
I proceeded with him.
To where?
I took him to Muwonge.
But now,
actually, he was given papers to sign, not the affidavit. It is all right. He signed, and he had a meeting in Kayunga the following day.
Yeah,
so the lawyers pleaded with him to have his signature appended onto these papers, and that I would read the affidavit for him in the morning when they are done. So I took him to Muwonge, and then the following morning we proceeded. I didn't move with him Kayunga, but however, I went to Lukwago and Company Advocates, that is at Kamocha, near where NPS was located, and I read through his affidavit, and of course I didn't even tell him what was in the affidavit, but he had read it, appended his signature.
You did not even tell him. Okay.
No.
Now, thank you for volunteering questions and answers. Now you answer mine.
Yes.
He signed from Bukoto.
That is him, not me.
Yes, him. You are the same person who has just stated in this court a few microseconds ago that you picked him from a hotel along Uganda Road and you drove him to Guam. Which of the two is the correct statement?
Okay. I wish to retract the first statement.
Mr. Kibalama, good morning. You are Mr. Kagumbi.
I picked Mr.
You cannot come here under oath and you begin throwing statements like that. What are you retracting? This, you think, is an IUC code? Because you are something, you forget and you say something else. You think that's for drama. I can throw you in. You took oath to say the truth. Now I'm retracting. Either or
8%. 8%.
I'm warning you for the last time. You make another false statement, you're going to go to the zero. You're not here for drama. If I report any other falsehood on this record.
Mr. Kagombe, which of the two statements is correct?
I picked him from Uganda Road, and lawyers were waiting for him at the photo. I observed him myself, took him to
So you have a third statement.
he signed, and then I took him to
That's your third statement now. Correct? Yes? No? It's your third statement. Okay. You are entitled, by the way, you may choose to even bring 10 statements. Just remember one thing, you're on oath. And you should be a serious statement, because this is a serious court. You're dealing with serious people. Let's move. At a press conference attended by yourself and Mr. Kibalama, you said Chairman undertook to pay to you, the former executive, or you are part of the new executive as well, $5 million. You are on video. Was it $1 million or million shillings?
in the press conference.
Yes. And the video recording. You said he was supposed to pay, these people were supposed to pay you $5 million for taking over your country. And they never honored that. Was it $1 million or million shillings?
It was $1 million.
They promised $5 million. Have they paid a portion of it?
No man has been paid to me.
Okay. What were you selling?
Because we had verbal engagements and gentleman's agreement,
Yes.
this issue just came in as a promise after when things had worked out. And it is not documented anywhere that he said he was going to give us this money.
You only said it verbally.
Yes.
Have things worked out?
Things have not worked out.
What were those things that were going to work out?
We had a series of meetings
Yes.
before we reached the marriage between National Unity Platform and People Power,
Yes.
form one force. And all that we were always talking about was never documented. And according to how we have moved, there is a big lapse. This is why I mean when
They
I
have
see
not
things.
honored.
Yes.
So, therefore, things have not worked out. What was supposed to be your share of the
That wasn't put into contextualization because it was basically something
The animal
that
had
was,
not been slaughtered?
yeah, it was discussed extensively between the two principals.
Okay. Earlier on, you told this court that you were not privy to the preliminary discussions between People Power and Mr. Kibalama. Would you know, and this is the second statement that you were part. You had a series of meetings. So which of the two statements is correct? One, that you were not privy to the original meetings, or that you were...
As the principals of two organizations,
Yes.
they had meetings where I was always not in, but I was also involved at some level in
Yes.
some meetings where it was necessitated for me to attend.
You are an officer of the National Unity Platform, confirmed.
True.
Have you obtained the $5 million to pay the original party officers? Yes or no?
Have I obtained money?
$5 million. You as the new executive of the National Unity Platform to pay the original founders of the National.
I'm not privy to that information.
You're not. You're not. Are you happy with the Chagulanyi and his group for not having honored their bargain of $5 million?
The issue is not about not being paid $5 million per se.
It is about.
But there could be other things that had caused grievances.
Like which ones? You know, court wants to know them, not there could be. They must be there, and they're specific.
From the 14th
Yes, sir.
July.
Would you need a handkerchief?
No, I have one. We have already gone to a number of things which have not really put into.
Like which
force.
ones? Say them.
That the previous leadership of National Unity Reconciliation and Development Party, after that assimilation of the people power, shall be part of the new formation.
Are you part of it? Of the new formation?
By virtue of name, not participation.
No. Are you part? Do you hold a position in National
There
Unity
is,
Platform?
Council, I think there's a difference between holding a position and
I am
participating in
not
that
asking
position.
that. Do you
I
have
do.
a position?
I do.
Good. And up to 14th of September 2020, you were in office at Kamuchi, correct?
Yes.
Did you ever go back to that office after 14th?
No.
On 15th, you did not go back. On 17th, you did not go back. 16th and 17th. Did you go back and they chased you from your office?
No, because I wasn't around.
And where were you?
I said I was in Uganda.
You were in Bali. When did you go to Bali?
It was around 17.
17th. Okay, and on the 16th you slept at your home in Koma, correct? 16th, you had not gone to Koma. What time did you leave? You left on 17th. What time did you leave Kampala from Bali?
It was at around.
Around 3 p.m. Did you drive your vehicle?
No.
Whose vehicle did you drive? Or were you driven?
His friend's vehicle.
His friend's vehicle. You know the friend.
Not saying.
As you were leaving home to come to Kampala, did you inform your family that you're going to Mbali? To Tororo? To do what? For what? Who did you tell? Your wife. Were you telling her the truth? Yes or no?
It was.
It was not the truth. Did you intend to tell her a lie?
I didn't intend.
So you went to Mbale after signing this affidavit at Kama's place? Yes. At what time did it occur to you that you would not be in Kampala and you would be going to Mbale on that day?
He told me around 11.
11. Was it by telephone or you were with him?
I was with him.
At 11, when he told you that we are going to Mbale. But before you came to town, you had told your wife you were going to Tororo, so you knew you were going somewhere. Okay. Do you have a residence in Mbale?
No.
I don't want to know which place in Mbale you stay to. Are you staying in a hotel?
It's a residence.
Do you know the owner of the residence? Don't tell me the name.
I don't know.
You don't know. You are under state protection, correct?
I've not discussed that and I don't know whether
Do you have the freedom to move out of that place? Be truthful, you have told enough lies. Do you have the freedom to move out of that residence?
Yes, I don't move myself.
You will move around Valley Town under no escort.
I've not realized it. But I know.
Why did you need escort to come here today?
I never requested for any escort and I came with a private car. So I was not.
Who did you come with in this car?
I came with Mr. Kibalama.
You know what he has told this court or you don't know?
I'm not certain.
Then tell the truth. Is there a way you need this court to help you?
Myself.
Yourself, no. You are comfortable in Bali.
Yes, I am.
The UPDF has come out openly to tell the world that you're under their custody and protection. Are they telling a lie? Or they're telling the world the truth?
I've not been escorted by UPDF and I've not been guarded by any such.
In whose residence are you staying in Bali? Now that you're okay, you're free man. In whose house are you staying?
I'm staying at his friend's residence.
He said otherwise. He's on record. Do you know that friend's name?
I don't know.
You don't. Are you a free man?
Yes, I'm free.
Are you paying rent for the house where you're staying in Bali?
So friends, this. Let's not get them.
Thank you. Okay, 2 weeks. Man, young man, 39 years, you're working for a family. What are you doing in Bali?
As I stated to this honorable court, I have a business that is running and my stay in Bali doesn't really...
What are you doing in Bali?
That's the question. You went to holiday?
Because the person I went with is still there and I'm taking...
What are you doing in Bali?
Nothing.
You're just enjoying life with your uncle.
That is where I stay.
That's where you stay. Good. Now, gentlemen, when you were running this political party, were you running it for purposes of accessing power to govern, to manage the affairs of the Ugandans?
Yes.
As we speak, is your party making progress in that direction? And you're an officer of the same party.
The party is making progress.
Is making progress. Are you still a member of this party? Yes, no?
I am.
Who is your president?
It is Honorable.
Is he making progress in this party? And are you happy with his performance?
He is making progress.
He's making. Are you happy with his progress there? With his performance there? And of course you're part of the team. So are you happy with the progress you are making?
This is where contention now comes, because I already told you.
Are you happy with the progress you are making as the National Executive Committee of the National Unity Platform?
Not certainly.
Yeah, not certainly. Do you have grievances? Yes or no?
Yes.
Have you addressed them to the party president?
Yes.
In writing?
Not in writing.
And he has not addressed them?
True.
What are they?
As the senior administrative secretary of the platform,
Yes.
having reached out this understanding on the 14th,
Yes.
I've always engaged executive that the people that are not being executive
Yes.
about how we upgrade.
Yes.
So we upgrade when we were few people.
Yeah.
Now we're more, very many actually.
Very many.
Yes.
Yes.
I kept addressing this, but there was no action taken. And at least I reached this to all these people, I assume.
Have you raised these issues in the National Executive Committee?
Of National Unity Platform?
Yes. Yes or no?
I have not, because when we came from Achiri, we had agreed upon a number of things. One of them was to organize for an extraordinary ladies conference where we shall fill up the elective positions.
The vacant
for the
positions.
platform.
The vacant positions.
Yes. And I kept on guiding to have.
Which are those positions, by the way,
That we are.
that have remained vacant?
5 minutes.
Okay.
5 minutes.
Like which one? Can you remember?
There is a position of National Mobilization Secretary. There is a position of Secretary for Youth, Secretary for Women.
And we are talking about a space of 2 months after Kachi.
Yes.
You have wanted all those ones to be filled, a delegates conference to be called.
Because it was agreed upon.
Because it was agreed. Could that be the reason you're now up in arms with your colleagues in the executive of the party? Yes?
Certainly, yes.
That is the reason. Have you written to the Electoral Commission to mediate in this? Have you ever written to the Electoral Commission complaining about how to manage the party?
Because I've been part of this commission, and I knew we had not fully submitted the list of all the members that make up that for electoral commission to recognize the leadership.
Yes.
So I kept it
Asking
internal.
for it.
So
And you kept it internal.
I have not used it.
Today, before you leave the witness box, one, if you got the $5 million these people promised, if the positions were filled, would you happy and would you go back and happily serve with the colleagues in the party?
I wouldn't.
You would not. So the differences are irreconcilable. Correct?
I wouldn't.
Who is the Secretary General of National Unity Platform?
The Secretary General is David Lewis.
He's David Lewis?
Yes.
Muwonge. Right?
Yes.
Which positions did you say are missing? Did you say national mobilization? Okay. Look at this document. Do you recognize the signature on that document? Down there. My Lord, I'm going to address you on this. Do you recognize that signature?
Yeah, I do.
Whose signature is that?
This is my signature.
What is your name?
My name is Ssegona.
Okay. What is, and do you recognize the other signature?
This?
Yes.
This is Bobiwine.
And that was your president. You signed it as, don't turn the page, you confuse the progress. What did you sign as?
I signed as the outgoing Secretary General.
Okay. Read the document, you quote.
This is National Unity Platform.
Yes.
Reference 242/26.
Mm.
The 20th of July 2020. The Secretary, Electoral Commission, Kampala, Uganda. Read. Introduction of the elected platform leadership. At the delegates conference of the platform held at Kata Gardens and Hotel on the 14th of July 2020, the following persons were elected to the corresponding positions.
Read them.
Roman number 1, President, Kyagulanyi Ssentamu Robert. Roman number 2, David Lewis, Secretary General. 3, Deputy Secretary General Aisha Kabanda. 4, Secretary for Information and Spokesperson Joel Senyonyi. Secretary for Women Affairs Flavia Carolina Nabagabe. Secretary for National Mobilization Nyanzi Fred Sentamu. Senior Administrative Secretary Singapore Paguni.
Yes, sir. Please return it. Tell court the vacant positions. Okay. On this, read the first, look at the first letter before the one you were reading.
This first one?
Yes.
Reference to...
Not to who?
The Secretary Electoral Commission. Yes, sir. Submission of minutes for delegates conference held on the 14th July 2020 at Wapiso Gardens and Hotel.
Okay, read.
You will recall that on the 24th June 2020, we notified you of our intentions to hold a delegates conference on the 14th of July 2020. I write to inform you that the delegates conference was successful and business was conducted in accordance with our agenda. I now hereby write to attach the minutes of the said delegates conference, which include the elected leaders for the National Unity Platform in accordance with Section 11, Subsection 4 of the Political Parties and Organizations Act 2005. I also hereby introduce them to you.
My Lord, this
Thank
is
you.
annexed yet to the application itself. So you want the Electoral Commission to change whenever you have a change of mind. Is that how you want the Electoral Commission, a constitutional body, to transact business the same way? Yes, my Lord, I mean on the application. You want the Electoral Commission to change documents whenever you change your mind.
Not really.
When you why are you in court? You are in court proceeding to the application that these things change at the Electoral Commission. And the reason is you changed your mind when these people did not honor the agreement, correct?
There are factors that fuel that. Because anyone would really change their mind if something that you have agreed does not over well.
Okay.
Because,
when do those factors come into play?
when you have agreed, when what you have agreed about doesn't come to play.
Doesn't come to play. Okay.
Let's wrap up, please.
Thank you, Madam. Mr. Kagombe, do you know Basile Difas?
Basile Difas.
Do you know Basile?
I don't know him.
You don't know him?
Yes.
Do you know this gentleman called Tuala Hassan?
I don't know him.
You have been Secretary General to this party.
Yes.
You don't know them.
I don't know him.
And as you referred to them in your original affidavit, you do not recognize them as members of this party.
But the first affidavit, I think I signed the second affidavit.
When you said in the first affidavit you do not know them, you do not recognize them, were you telling the truth?
I cancelled the first affidavit, that is why I signed the second affidavit.
Okay. Before you cancelled
So
it,
were you lying or not? That's what they're asking you. In the first one, you say you don't know them, and you have repeated it here.
Your Worship, I have not interacted with Basile Difas because being
You said you don't know them.
This is what I'm trying to substantiate about. I don't know them because having been, though I was a Secretary General in that capacity, there was no way I could have known all members of a big organization from wherever they come from.
One of them claims to be a youth secretary. So he's lying.
talk.
I've said I don't know them.
By claiming to be a youth secretary, a position you have said remains vacant, was he telling a lie? He's not.
I think that comes up to him to prove whether
A
he
youth
is.
secretary is serving in the same national executive
But I
committee
still
with you.
maintain that I don't know him.
You don't know him. So when you said in that affidavit you don't know him, you were right. Correct? At least until the time you cancelled that affidavit. And now a question came from court. Did you cancel it because it was a lie? That affidavit was false. Is that the reason you cancelled it? Or because you were advised later?
I didn't cancel the affidavit because of that specific point.
Why did you cancel?
I said it was after consultations that I changed my mind to say another affidavit.
Where do you cancel it incidentally in this affidavit of 17th? Can you point out to court where you cancel the original affidavit?
Instead, I signed supplementary affidavit.
Okay. Now, you signed it. In paragraph 6, this is what you said. That is my lord of 17th September. I regret having been led into signing a first affidavit, as it does not speak the whole truth as to what happened. And that is why I withdraw it. I stand by the second affidavit, drawn by Barungi, by Ghana, and company advocates as the truth. Now, the one of Barungi by Ghana, are you referring to this very one now? This very one? Or you're referring to an earlier one that was signed on 14th?
I think the one that was signed in the 14th, because this was the letter, instead of second.
No, I am actually happy, my lord, and this is my last leg, which brings us close to the answer. So, by that one of Barungi by Ghana, are you referring to this one? Have it. I wrote down on 14th again. This is the one you are referring to. Okay. Now this brings us close to the answer.
Which one is that one?
My lord is saying he's standing by this one of 14th in miscellaneous application. Good. So
we shouldn't even be wasting time with that argument, because yes, in that one he was swearing. Now it gets another one of 18, 17. One with similar content.
But yes. Thank you, my lord, for the observation. Now, two last questions. One. Mr. Kagombe, are you aware that your party has since nominated candidates for youth council, for youth councillors, and have been nominated by the Electoral Commission? Some have gone through and others have failed in the election. Senior Administrative Secretary. Do you know that the youth elections have been conducted in this country by the Electoral Commission?
Yes, I know.
Are you also aware that the Electoral Commission has a roadmap?
Certainly.
And that it is continuous?
Yes.
Are you aware that some youth have already been elected on your ticket?
I do.
Are you happy with that?
I am.
Are you also aware that councillors have been nominated by your party to run in the national and local government elections? Yes or no?
I am aware.
Are you happy with that?
Not really.
You're not happy with it? You actually don't want them to win?
There is
Do you want them to win?
Can I make some clarification?
No. Just answer this. Do you want them to win? Yes or no? No. You don't want them. Do you agree that they were late by your signature to join this party? By your signature alone?
They were?
That they were late to join this party? by your signature alone, and that you introduced to the world a new leadership in this party that signed their nomination forms, and that they took their papers to this same electoral commission, national unity platform, to have the officers you showed to them sign their nomination papers and present to the electoral commission. Do you know it is your signature that did?
I know it is my signature that did.
And you know that when you announce to the electoral commission, you have announced to the entire country and the entire world.
I know, but when processes are not followed, then what happens?
And who did not follow the processes? Are they those candidates or you?
When we came from Kachiri, I stand with this.
Have you ever been the treasurer of this party?
I've not been the treasurer, I've never been.
And you agree that matters of the treasury are handled by the party treasurer?
True.
And that it could only be the party treasurer to testify on issues of facilitation for the delegates conference, and not you? Yes or no?
It is true.
Did you have a treasurer at the time of Kachiri?
At the time of Kachiri, we had a treasurer.
What was the name of that treasurer?
It was Winston.
Has he complained to you that he did not get facilitation?
Yes.
Have you ever received accountability from him?
No accountability has ever been brought forward.
Has his complaint ever been addressed to you in writing?
No.
Fine. As you appear to be a horrendous liar, do you know the implication of that lie to the political life of this country and its citizens? Have you ever weighed?
Yes, I do.
What could they be? Do you know just your lie can cause war in this country and millions of people perish? Yes or no?
It is true.
Do you know, do you want your party to take power?
This is where the challenge
Yes
is.
or no?
Which party?
The one you belong to as a senior administrative.
This is because it is
You are senior administrative what?
So which part are you in? Which part are you in?
NUP.
Do you want?
What question are you asking?
I was asking because
You said you want your party to take power, unless you are close. Are you now in DP? You said you want your party to take power, so now which party? Later you know you belong to two parties, and that's why you're very close confusion.
worship have all party card.
Don't talk that rubbish here. You went to the electoral commission and told them the new party is no. Now you can't be seen to be here saying no. We have the old party of no. You can't have old and new. When you went, you gave them, you misrepresented whatever portion you gave. They registered a new party. And now you see now you remember which party now. Any other thing. Don't think you're all fools. You can say that in your book funders, not this book.
You want
know the
your
party you are in, you're a senior administrative visit, an officer, and I say no, which party?
Do you want your party to take power? Yes. Do you want to remain an officer of this party?
Yes.
With this conduct, do you want to lead people? Do you want to lead people with this conduct? Have you been facilitated by the state since your life is about facilitation? Has the state assisted you in any way since 17?
I've not been facilitated.
Well,
Let's wrap up, please.
are you aware that in your party president, Chagulanyi, is an aspirant who has written to the Electoral Commission following your signature?
I am.
You are aware. And you are aware that he is busy telling Ugandans to vote your party into power. And you do not want that to happen. Do you want Chakulani as a member of your party? Yes or no?
Yes.
As a member of the party, does he have a right to contest for the presidency of the party?
It does, yes.
Does he have the right to stand as flag bearer of your party?
Yeah, the Constitution is in the party.
The constitution of the party, and that's the national constitution. And by your signature, you led him to pursue those ambitions. Correct?
The
Or not?
point
Yes.
was made, Mr. Ssegona. Let's not repeat the
I thank you very much, and I rest my mind.
The examination.
With your permission, my lord, I need to step up for a minute.
My name is Mr. Kabombe, you've talked of, when you are being cross-examined, you talked of the minutes, the resolution, that you say were forgery. Which ones were you referring to? Which minutes resolutions were you referring to in brief?
I meant this of February 2019.
Now, specifically, what was that resolution all about?
No, don't take us there. All those things are here. You have even a gazette, you have everything. It was attached. Now you want to begin asking them about the whole thing they bought for?
No, that is all we want to have to vote with further examination.
My Lord, I believe I also speak for my learned friends to the respondents, and we seek directions on submissions.
The first submission by Tuesday.
My Lord, we are looking at the time now, at the hour.
You have the weekend and Monday.
We are obliged. My Lord, I seek and done this. Are these all or written submissions?
My Lord, before the schedule, permit me, and with the indulgence of my colleagues, My Lord, an issue of very fundamental importance has arisen. And this issue relates to the identity of Mr. Basile Diffas. Basile Diffas, information we received from the Electoral Commission, and unfortunately because we had closed, is that when you get his name number and punch it into a system, even going on the on the NERA website, it does not show that national ID. And nobody seems to know him. It is within the powers of this honorable court under section 93 of the Civil Procedure Act.
When you say Kibalama,
True, my lord. No, we are talking about the way he presents his document to court.
I don't mind about it. He has been consistent appearing in this court, at least all three.
I thank you, my lord, and I respect.
We are obliged, my lord. And we shall submit on local standard, which is one of the issues. And which will surely show his identity.
Preference, my lord, would be oral.
No, I don't have that time. I don't want the drama you're having here. Go and write your things and throw them to
Thank you, my lord. We shall throw them.
My lord, for the applicants, we are able to put in our written by Tuesday. Tuesday will be 29th. Close of this.
The applicants file submissions by 29th September 2020. The respondents should file their submissions by 2nd October 2020. File and serve, please. The applicant to file a rejoinder by 6th October 2020. The court to deliver its ruling by 16th October 2020.
We are obliged.
Send soft copies on the email, the court email.